is about picking out what's special about your group. And of course, the likes of Alex Waller and Courtney Lawes are going to be motivation for Northampton. But don't kid yourself, Bath have got plenty of motivation. 28 years of hurt after the back of a brilliant, sensational decade of winning rugby from Bath. And they want to put that blue, white and black shirt back on the podium.
Well, you can smell the cordite in the air, the smoke clearing from the fireworks. George Furbank for Northampton. Christoph Ridley, the referee, says let's go to work. And Furbank kicks right down the field where Ollie Lawrence, who's had a great season after winning Premiership Player of the Year last season, he sends his kick not far away from the halfway line, more around the 10-metre line, and it gives Chris Ashton a platform for the Saints from which to attack on the 10-metre line.
It does, and they'll definitely have some first phase planned attack. It was a long kick on purpose, knowing that Bath would kick off straight away and give them this line out straight away.
Curtis Langdon found Lawes, and now they're working a little pattern in the midfield. Then Slightholme loses it, and Muir puts his boot through it, and Gallagher could be in here for Bath. Will it sit up? Yes, it will. Great tackle, Furbank on Gallagher. That saved the day and saved Northampton, because their move in the middle of the park broke down. Muir on it in a flash. Gallagher almost scored. 5 metres scrum to Northampton from the knock-on.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to have a look at it. Will the officials have a look at it? I'm not sure that that's down as maybe a knock-on. I think it was a retreating tackle from Furbank, who may have punched the ball rather than the arm. Maybe they'll have a rerun. But my goodness me, instinct there just to be able to get the ball kick. It didn't even look for a pass there. They just knew it was time to kick and chase.
Right, before the scrum, let's go back to Roland Garros. Has the second set started there, Russell Fuller?
Yes, and it started the way the first set finished, because Iga Świątek has now won 8 games in a row. She leads Jasmine Paolini 6-2, 3-love, 3 games away from a 4th French Open title in 5 years.
And Russell and the team over on 5 Sports Extra for every point of the women's final from the French Open. The scrum, pressure on it. And if Bath managed to turn this over, Christoph Ridley's given a scrum Northampton. This is a key area of the game. Both scrums have been superb this season. We'll wrap through the 2 teams while we can. Alex Waller, Curtis Langdon, Trevor Davison, the Northampton front row. Bath's front row, Benno Obano, Tom Dunn, Thomas Dutoit. What a matchup that is. Alex Moon, Alex Coles, Courtney Lawes, Tom Pearson, Kwano Augustus make up the rest of the Saints pack. For Bath, it's Quinn Roux, Charlie Ewels, Ted Hill, Sam Underhill and Alfie Barbary. We'll do the backlines in a moment, but real pressure going on that Northampton ball, Chris Ashton.
This is an area where Northampton have actually struggled to start games well. Leinster away in the Champions Cup, slow start, cost them in the end. Saracens last week in the semi-final, the slow start again, but Saracens couldn't capitalise. As we've just seen the line out, shaky start, so Bath need to take advantage of it as soon as they can.
Bit better that one from Northampton. Mitchell does well. Then Odendahl comes on a line, hint of obstruction, but referee Christoph Ridley was content. Finn Smith's got to go in and play at 9, and he finds Langdon, Curtis Langdon, formerly of Worcester. Loads of players from Wasps, Worcester and London Irish are on show in the Premiership final. It just shows how many good players were on the market after those clubs went to the wall. And Alex Mitchell, the England 9, who will no doubt be on tour to Japan and New Zealand after the final. He sends a good kick, Matt Dawson, past the 10-metre line.
Yeah, just those little bits of execution from Northampton on that occasion. Ball squirts out the scrum. Mitchell does really well to avoid Ben Spencer there. You're licking your lips thinking I could turn him over here, drive Mitchell back, but no, Mitchell uses footwork. And go back to that original line out on the halfway from the kickoff. Ollie Slightholme coming round on the sort of the underrun and knocking it over. Those little bits of detail from Northampton, you don't expect them to be making those. That's actually been the differentiator the other way for Northampton this season.
And that's the challenge, putting their game on the pitch in a final with all that pressure. Can we see the Northampton we've seen in rounds 1 to 18, or does the occasion get to them, or could get to any player, couldn't it?
It doesn't seem to faze them. Didn't faze them against Leinster. I know that was maybe the game was out of the way then, but it didn't faze them against Saracens at all. They were confident in the scrum, and they were confident they didn't stop attacking once. So that's why I think Bath, when the opportunity is that they can't be missed. And I think that one with Matt Gallagher is an opportunity missed, albeit in the first 30 seconds.
Scrum Northampton on their own 10-metre line, 15 in. Bath are going to work with the Northampton scrum and Bath have got the penalty. Widely considered the most powerful scrum in the league, Bath. And they've done a number on Northampton there, and they will have a chance at points if they so desire. Sarah Orchard down on the touchline. You're right by the Bath bench. Imagine her going nuts after that scrum.
Yeah, the entire Bath bench all on their feet to applaud that scrum as the decision goes and what they're actually going to do here. Of course, Russell's going to go for the post. Meanwhile, on the other side, we're keeping a close eye on Lewis Ludlam, who is right there up by the advertising board. He's not actually sat with the other replacements for Northampton. It's like he's living every moment of every scrum he's not involved in until he can get on that pitch.
Finn Russell is going to go for goal. Just time for us to nip to Wembley. Warrington against Wigan. It's a day of finals on 5 Live. Challenge Cup final, Richard Stead.
We've just had a very poignant moment here as the entirety of Wembley has stood as one in silence to remember Rob Burrow. Two-time Challenge Cup winning coach John Keir is alongside me. Some moment, John.
Oh, it's very moving, very emotional, and you could sense the buy-in from the crowd and the respect that's held throughout this great stadium for a warrior, small in stature but an absolute warrior on the field of play, but also with his subsequent troubles.
We kick off in a couple of minutes, but the build-up to this has all been about the late, great Rob Burrow.
Thanks very much to Richard and John, and we will have a moment's applause here on the 7-minute mark to commemorate Rob Burrow. We're just ticking towards the 6-minute mark here at Twickenham, so in a minute's time everyone around the ground will applaud the great Rob Burrow. But Finn Russell, Matt Dawson badly shanked that kick a goal, barely got off the ground.
Yeah, it was a bit of a snap hook, wasn't it? Duck hook. Did not look comfortable at all, but Bath will be licking their lips thinking about that scrummage. Every single scrum now that goes, you feel they're going to get on top of Davison, because Abana was all over him.
Well, he's had a great season, Trevor Davison, but you can say the same about Benno Abano, who want to no doubt put his case forward to go on that England tour, but it's not about England, it's about Bath for the next 74 minutes. And Bath have another penalty. Northampton were putting some pressure on there, but referee Christoph Ridley talking to Tom Pearson, and just tempers start to flare a little bit. It will be another scrum to Bath as the clock stops. Nothing particularly happening in that melee.
No, but interesting that Langdon seemed to be this very cool, calm and exciting rugby player. All of a sudden is taking on a centre in Redpath with the ball. They're the little things they're the signals, Chris, that just say to you that he is a bit edgy, he is a little bit wound up.
7-minute clock, and listen to the applause for Rob Burrow as Twickenham gets to its feet. The two codes very much united to support great men like Rob Burrow against the dreadful disease of MND. And the applause still rings around Twickenham, the home of English Rugby Union. As Bath win a penalty right in front of the post, and they've started this final much the better. And if Finn Russell went for goal a moment or two ago, he'll certainly go for goal there. But poignant scenes. I mentioned the two codes uniting, Doddy Weir, Rob Burrow, Ed Slater. We've seen what the England assistant coach and rugby league great Kevin Sinfield's done, Matt Dawson, to support his great mate in Rob Burrow and try and fight the dreadful disease that is MND.
I mean, we talk about the power of sport and raising awareness, etc. And don't get me wrong, of course it's incredible, but it's around incredible individuals and powerful individuals such as Rob Burrow and Doddy Weir and Kevin Sinfield on this case. I mean, they're superhuman and so inspirational.
Finn Russell from bang in front puts Bath ahead, and Chris Ashton. Bath have started much the better here, and they lead 3-0.
Yes, they have. Christoph really just being on everybody at the breakdown, which is the right way to do it. Just set out how he's going to want the game, the flow. But earlier this season, Finn Russell actually did have a problem with the balls. Actually, we need to speak to Paul Grayson about this. But he said he wasn't striking it well. He had a bit of an issue with the ball because he didn't miss playing for Scotland. And he's hit that one over, but it wasn't a clean strike.
Yeah, his kicking for Scotland in the Six Nations was dead-eye, wasn't it? And he kicked well in the semi-final, missed a couple, but nailed some big goals. Bath have it in their own 22, and they have a 3-point lead as we go back to the tennis. And Russell.
Iga Świątek has now won 9 games in a row and has a point to win a 10th. She leads Jasmine Paolini 6-2, 4-love, 40-30. Her grasp on the French Open title will not be relinquished.
And go to Sports Extra to hear if Świątek can see that one off at Roland Garros and go back-to-back. Northampton attack just short of the halfway line. Mitchell eyes up at 50-22, doesn't quite strike it. Gallagher, who came so close to the game's first try, kicks it into the lovely blue Twickenham sky. The clouds have parted for the Premiership final as Furbank links with Freeman, and Bath are all over Northampton physically, and they may have got a turnover, but illegal, says referee Ridley. Mitchell feints the tap and go, but decides not to.
Thanks, Ben. Don't ask questions at every penalty.
You see that? Did you see that hit? Yours on Furbank there.
Christoph, just to let you know, it's no foul play. The player is slipping and the tackler is completely bent at the waist.
We're seeing a replay of it, and it's getting an ooh from all round Twickenham.
He slips, doesn't he? And he's totally bent at the waist.
Northampton will argue it was after the pass, but Yule's putting a shot in, and you spoke in the warm-up, in the build-up about that fight and physicality.
Everything we ask of him is bent at the waist, and you slipped.
I mean, I couldn't quite see on the angle there. I was just looking at his left arm, actually. It was
Tucked slightly.
Was it slightly tucked?
Yeah. But I've actually got a lot of time of how quickly they've handled that and moved on. Right, I think it's the right decision. But Bath seem on it here. They are physical. They are into Northampton. Saracens were last weekend, and Northampton managed to find a way through it.
They've got good line-out ball here. Mitchell, Odendahl back inside to Tommy Freeman. One of the England stars that have really announced himself over the last year or so. Northampton, their attack breaks down. They're just not fluent enough at the moment, the Saints, but it was knocked on in the tackle by Bath. No advantage you'd have heard there from Christoph Ridley. So, Matt Dawson and Chris Ashton, fascinating first 11 minutes. Northampton 0, Bath 3. Bath bossing the physical exchanges, but Northampton have a very nice scrum position here. Bang in centre field in the Twickenham sunshine, in between the 22 and the 10.
I think we have to bring up, this is the Premiership final, right? This is what you've built yourself up for all season. This is as close as you're probably going to get to international intensity. And yes, Northampton have been running riot at club level, but Bath are defending like an international side. They are hot on the half sideline. They are out of the blocks. The split-second difference of being able to get the ball away and not for Northampton is where they're falling foul.
Centre field, Mitchell comes left. Here is Finn Smith to Furbank. Oh, great tackle. It's coming in by Bath, and then another one. That's Bath are putting in some serious shots. Juan Augustus then picks and goes round the fringe. That's better from Northampton as they go into the Bath 22. 3-0 Bath, the Premiership final on 5 Live. Curtis Langton, our first receiver, helped out by Moon. 22, centre field. Courtney Laws, his final game after 17 seasons, one of, if not the great of Northampton rugby. Oh, it's been lost, and it's in Bath possession, and they can counter-attack here, and Redpath feeds Muir. Muir's in a foot race. Good tackle. Tommy Freeman saves the day, otherwise Muir would have been clear.
I tell you, I've been dying to see these two wingers go against each other. Both aerial and kings of the air and speed by the looks of it. I thought he should have given it to Muir slightly earlier, just to give his wingman a little bit more room on the outside, but handled perfectly well from Riemann, growing the waist, chop tackle into touch.
We're going to go back to Roland Garros shortly as Iga Świątek moves towards another Roland Garros crown over on Sports Extra for the final stages of the second set, if Świątek is to close it out. But we will get the final moments from Russell Fuller live at Roland Garros. 3-0 to Bath, Northampton 0, Bath 3. As Alex Mitchell pops it into the box, it's hanging on the halfway line. Forward comes Muir, great take by Muir and Freeman, who've had a real contest. Neither claimed it in the end. It looked like Muir had it, then Freeman had it. Ultimately, it will be a scrum to Northampton just short of the halfway line.
Yeah, decent box hit, right on the money. Fantastic challenge, just what we want to see. Reaching for the ball above their heads, Aussie rules style. Yeah, I'd agree. This battle between Muir and Freeman could well spark something up. I mean, Chris Ashton spoke earlier about on that transition from the turnover, give it to the wheels early, give it to the gas man and say, go on then.
Yeah.
What have you got? Not in a 5-metre channel where the touchline's your mate.
Sometimes these days it's been overcoached to find the perfect picture all the time, wait for the perfect moment. Sometimes when you're in these games, just let the man do his special thing. That's why he's on the wing in these games. Let him go. If you had Martin O'Fire at there, I guarantee you'd be giving it to him.
Northampton 0, Bath 3. Radio 5 live and BBC Sounds live at a sun-drenched Twickenham. 15 minutes on the clock. Back to Roland Garros shortly for what could be the closing stages of the women's final at the French Open. But Northampton have a scrum, the last scrum. Bath made a meal of the Saints on their own ball, and they're trying to do the same again. And Bath have again got a nudge on, but Augustus does very well to peel away with the ball, the South African. So slow ball for Northampton, but at least they have it. A compelling first 15 minutes, which has been bossed largely by Bath, but they only have the 3 points from the boot of Finn Russell to show for it. Alex Mitchell, the England 9, prepares to box kick, and he does just that. Into Bath territory it goes. A tester for Muir, and that somehow ended up in Freeman's possession. What a battle these two wingers are having. And Northampton might be able to go here. Finn Smith, Dingwall, out to Furbank, who's come up from fullback. He offloads, then it's been knocked on. Another uncharacteristic Northampton error for Chris Ashton. I'll ask you about that battle in the air in a moment, but let's go back to the tennis and Russell.
Chris Iga-Swiatek is serving for the title. Jasmine Paolini has ended Swiatek's run of 10 games in a row, but it's 6-2, 5-1, 15 love. Swiatek 3 points away now.
Thanks a lot, Russell. Back with you at the closing stages of that game, which could be another French Open crown for Iga-Swiatek. And talk to us about that contest, Chris Ashton. Yeah. Goodness me.
Well, Will Muir, I'm sure he's got to be in the mixer to go on the summer tour. He's been so good for Bath this year. Tommy Freeman's already in the England shirt. Yeah, these two have been two of the best wingers all season, but their special strength is getting up and contesting and winning the ball back for their team. So it's great to see they're a head-to-head today. Freeman winning that one, but another man who's thrown his weight around so far is Sam Underhill. It's been put about 3 monster hits in here, so we're just watching him hit Alex Mitchell. He's just got Curtis Langdon, as you say, Doss. Curtis Langdon was rattled again after Underhill hit him.
Well, I mean, the defence of Bath is leading their charge at the moment, and if you're coaching Northampton, the messages have to be get back to the accuracy. Come 60, 70 minutes, Bath will not be defending with this intensity. You know, it's just a patience game for Northampton, not getting rattled, not getting sucked into the fact that maybe they're going back in the scrum. But they've got to clean up their execution, and just, you know, on that occasion, Bath got a really good... Oh, here we go.
Yeah, Bath gave away a free kick. Northampton have tapped and gone. Good carry, Fraser Dingwall, almost up to the 22. And then Spencer scragged Mitchell, so... That's a feather in the Spencer cap. This great scrum half battle, 2 England internationals. England internationals all over the park. There are 10 of them in the Northampton lineup. Here's Alex Moon playing his last game for the Saints before a French move. Then it's been lost, but illegally worked on the floor by Bath. I wonder whether Saints' Chris Ashton had again knocked on unnecessarily, but Christoph really hot on that. Bath were the ones infringing. Northampton have a penalty, and this is meat and drink for Finn Smith.
Northampton just don't seem to get flustered by the errors that they back themselves all the way through the game to break the defence down at some point. But we are 17 and a half minutes here. We haven't mentioned Finn Russell. Does that seem odd?
Well, yeah, of course it is. Of course it is, but to be honest, I think it looks to me Bath are happy to defend. The 2 main attacks have come from turnover ball, quick turnover ball. One leather it down the other end, the other on a counter-attack. Bath are happy to defend. They know that they can create some spillage.
Finn Smith, is that going to sneak in? It's hit the left upright. That was regulation for a kicker of Smith's quality, but he's missed it. And again, just those final nerves, maybe. You can prepare all you like, you can play in big Euro games, semi-finals, but Twickenham, 82,000. Both Finn Smith and Finn Russell have missed kicks.
It's just not the same, Josie. That's the great thing about these two teams being here, but both teams have not got any experience of winning a game like this so far.
But it does still leave Northampton with a great platform. One at the front by Tom Pearson, then Coles finds Mitchell just short of the 22. Dingwall, Ernendal, nicely done. The South African goes over the 22. Mitchell just scooting to the left. What can Northampton do? Slightly slowed up right. Northampton still attacking, just slowed up, so let's go back to the tennis. Championship point for you, Russell.
To Iga Świątek, 6-2, 5-1, 40-30 against Italy's Jasmine Paolini, who'd never been past the second round of the French Open before. A deep breath from Świątek, serving now for the title. It would be a fourth in 5 years. The backhand from Paolini is long. Iga Świątek sinks to the Philippe Chatrier court clay once again. A hat-trick of titles in that it's 3 in a row. It's a 5th Grand Slam title for the woman who's only just turned 23. The same number as Martina Hingis, the same number as Maria Sharapova. Świątek the champion again, winning the finals 6-2, 6-1.
Thanks very much, Russell. Brilliant stuff over on Sports Extra for all the reaction as Iga Świątek cements her status as the Queen of Clay. Driving up to the 22, go Northampton. Bath leading by 3, but Saints have grown back into this final. Drop goal attempt, Finn Smith, 40 metres out, lovely strike. Oh, he's nailed it! That's class from the youngster. He missed the kick you'd expect him to make, but no bother. He slots into the pocket and from 40 metres bangs over a drop goal to get Northampton level in the final.
Ferocious defence from Bath, hit after hit. Sam Underhill, my goodness me, he's like a concrete wall. It's just ridiculous. No one makes any inch past him when he's setting that defence, and he's inspiring the rest of this Bath side. So what do you need from your fly half? You need a calm head just to sit in the pocket and say, right, enough of this, 3 points to start again.
3 points all in the Premiership final.
Oh,
as
trouble.
Barno hits Augustus. Was that high? Matt Dawson thought so. Let's see if Northampton still can forge an attack. Furback, Courtney Laws is hugging the left touchline. We're going to go to the Rugby League at Wembley shortly and get a word from Sarah on the touchline, but Northampton are running it out from their own territory. Slow down a little bit. So let's go to Wembley, the latest in the Challenge Cup final with Richard Stead.
Warrington Wolves lead by 2 points to nil. A Josh Thewlis penalty, but that's only half the story. 2 sin binnings in the first 3 minutes. A yellow card for Mike Cooper for Wigan and Matt Duffy for Warrington Wolves. Correct decisions or not, John Keane?
Correct decisions by all means. Yeah, it's been a pretty ill-disciplined start, but it's settling down a bit now.
We've played 13 minutes. It's 2-0 to Warrington.
Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, it sounds fierce and ferocious at Wembley. Across town here at Twickenham, it is similar. Northampton 3, Bath 3 after 21 minutes. It's hard to take in all the different hits that have gone on.
Stop the game.
And they're stopping the game. I imagine Matt Dawson for this Benno Urbano hit. He might be a little bit of bother the Bath prop.
You foul play by Bath number 1.
Okay, look
His
at
his right shoulder makes contact with the head of Northampton.
Oh,
8.
here we go. Yeah, this could be bad.
I mean, the picture did not
The
look
angles are coming for you now,
good
Christoph.
from the off, from the hit. Augustus Scott, you know, that head rattle goes back. They're going to watch a few angles of it.
It's a big man to knock back like that.
It really does not look good. If anything, Urbano was set and launched upwards towards Augustus.
Agreed, yes.
It's definitely foul play because he's always hitting upwards.
Yes, agreed.
The level of danger is clearly high because he's always moving forwards into the tackle.
Agreed.
We aren't considering any mitigation at this point, having had a conversation.
I'm just going to show you one more. I'm just going to show you one more angle to see if you think there's a little dip into the contact beforehand.
Okay, so
mate?
we're looking for sudden or significant dip into the contact.
Let's try this. We'll show you this angle.
Has he dipped? This will save Urbano a red card. If he hasn't dipped sufficiently,
We've got another angle coming,
Benno
Christoph.
Urbano's going to be sent off here. Is there enough of a dip there? Let's listen into the officials. Will they decide that Augustus has just dipped to give enough mitigation to take it from red to yellow?
I'm seeing that as a natural brace for a collision. I'm not seeing that as an unusual, sudden, significant drop in height.
Yeah, I agree.
There has to be preparation for some sort of brace, so I'm not considering that as mitigation, and I'm thinking red card.
I would agree.
Okay, what's the number, please?
Number 1.
Well, that's it's sad for a lot of reasons because the game was always going to be competitive. But right now, we've stated this is international level. How many times does an international side win with 14 men? Not very often.
Benno Urbano's been sent off in the Premiership final, and Bath will play just under an hour of the Twickenham final with 14 men.
I mean, it's a conversation for another day, but this is where we come in with these 20-minute red cards, because it's going to be a tough task now for Bath for the next 60 minutes.
Sarah Orchard on the touchline. What's happening down there? I imagine a forlorn Bath bench.
Yeah, Benno Urbano is just walking off the pitch now. He's got his hands on his hips. He's going to walk past one Schoeman, who'll be the man who will come on when ready. Someone ultimately on the field right now for Bath is going to have their final sacrificed for what's happened here, because Schoeman will have to come back on at the occasion of the next scrum, and Urbano is now sat down, his head in his hands. He can't quite believe what's happened.
Yep, shades of Sam Cane in the World Cup final when he was sent off, the New Zealand captain. Benno Urbano red carded in the final, and as Sarah says, with Schoeman coming on, do they sacrifice a wing, a back rower? What do Bath do? Because they've got no choice. They can't feel sorry for themselves. They've got to somehow roll their sleeves up and try and win this final with 14.
Yeah, I suppose with the way that Bath, it was becoming very obvious how they were going to attack this final, and that was with their defence. So they had possession, Ashley, prior to the referee going back to this. They went through 3 or 4 phases, and Bath, of course, they knew what they were doing, but there was no attacking intent at all. They were going to a box-kicking game, saying to Northampton, right, go on, run it out, we're going to press you, squeeze you, get the penalties, get the interceptions. Now that's not really necessarily an option.
But I do think that is partly to do with the pressure that Northampton put on you as a team. There is a threat everywhere, all over the pitch. So you think, I don't want to play, we don't want to lose the ball here in case they come and attack us in this area.
Well, Alfie Barbary, Sarah mentioned who was going to be sacrificed. It looks like it's going to be Alfie Barbary, and it's gutting for him. This would have been a huge opportunity for him to try and lead Bath and help them to win the title, but also stake his England credentials. But he's sitting down on the bench now. Yeah, so interesting, they've kept a full back line, Ashley, and taken off one of their back rowers.
Maybe they feel, as this game goes on, they need people with tanks, they need people with energy.
They've got to go for it, haven't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they are not going to win this game with a defensive setup of 14 men. They've got to score tries.
I'm going to ask you, Ashley, about red cards in Premiership finals in a sec, but Northampton are tackling through Slightholme, and if he can get this away to Freeman could have been in. Good carry though from Slightholme. Mitchell scragged by Spencer, but he finds Finn Smith. Northampton a man advantage, 22 minutes gone. Northampton 3, Bath 3 at Twickenham, but Underhill's got in there to steal it brilliantly for Bath, who snuff out that Northampton attack. And now Spencer will find his forwards and which will either give Spencer a platform to clear, or he'll pass back to Russell, but it doesn't look like Russell's going to kick. He's got his back to Ben Spencer, so the Bath number 9 will clear his lines. Benno Urbano, if you're just joining us on 5 Live, as Spencer clears brilliantly up to the halfway. Benno Urbano sent off in the Prem final. And Chris Ashton, were you playing for Northampton in 2013 when Dylan Hartley was sent off in the final? He was sent off towards the end of the first half for swearing at the referee. Another high-profile incident in the Premiership final. Leicester went on to win that day with a bit to spare. What will the story be here? But you can tell Northampton feel they've got Bath on the run. Bath a man down. Laws, great ball inside to Furbank, and Furbank can link to Tommy Freeman. Freeman scores to the right of the post. He's engulfed by teammates. Slick, ruthless Northampton attack. How many times have we said that this season? The green flags fly around Twickenham, and the England man Tommy Freeman's got their first try of the final.
Oh, what a move. What a set-piece move from... I mean, the time and energy and effort that not just the players but the backroom staff spend on trying to break down the opposition. Midfield ruck one, Alex Mitchell going around Courtney Laws on a loop around, which they've done throughout the season, and of course it goes to Alex Mitchell all day long, but not in the final. Furbank on a beautiful scything inside line, and had a choice of Coles or Freeman to score. Brilliant execution from Northampton, as they've done pretty much throughout the season.
My issue is I've seen Northampton run that move 5 or 6 times this year, so Hobart didn't know he's coming. I have no idea, and I didn't watch the replay, so I was just watching the body language of the Bath lads, and their heads instantly dropped. Will Muir, Joe Thokinasinger just looked like they were already accepting defeat.
Well, yeah, the trouble is, if you come to a final with this mentality and this game plan, which was good, you've got to have 15 men on the field. If you're going to play an abrasive, defensive, attacking defensive setup, you've got to be on the field.
Picking up on that in a second, Matt Dawson. Let's go back to Wembley. You've got to try Rich instead.
Yeah, Wigan lead 8 points to 0. Young Zach Eckersley, who comes in for the suspended Adam Kieran, a player you've coached, John Keir.
Yes, he was with me at Widnes, and he's got sensational feet and speed, but it was just a Johnny on the spot finish from a kick through by Bevan French.
And his dad Chris used to play for Warrington. Wigan lead 8-0.
Thanks so much, guys. Back to you at Wembley as events unfold there, and it's over on BBC One if you want the Rugby League. As we're hearing from Russell Fuller, Iga Swiatek has won again in the French Open. And here at Twickenham, Northampton lead Bath 10-3 on this day of finals on 5 Live, on 5 Sports Extra and on BBC Sounds. Finn Smith from Mitchell's Pass, Finn Russell now in the backfield. We've hardly seen Finn Russell and Matt Dawson. To your point you made just before we went to the Rugby League, do Bath have to mix up their tactics here as Muir comes forward to take that brilliantly?
There's no question it needs to be mixed up, and here we go.
And Spencer's kick for Gallagher, and this might it up for Gallagher. Oh, he had the running on Erdendahl. He had the beating of Erdendahl, Chris Ashton, but the ball just wouldn't bounce for Bath, and that little passage will just give Bath some encouragement after the Urbano sending off and after the Freeman try.
Yeah, great spot from Ben Spencer. I mean, the fantastic catch from Will Muir to get up there and win the ball out of nothing. They're the kind of plays that they're going to need just to break this game away, break it up from Northampton. They need a spark of something. Matt Gallagher just couldn't find the bounce in the corner.
Northampton's line out is one, and then Augustus, who was the man at the receiving end of the Urbano tackle that saw Benno Urbano sent off. He again is tackled high, but that looked more like a kind of a seatbelt one that would just be a penalty. So Matt Dawson, Bath came into this final with the plan, it looked like, to defend, and they defended brilliantly up to the Freeman try, and then to pick off Northampton on the counter-attack. That's going to be harder to do now they've got a man down. Yeah,
it's going to be tough, but they've got to stick to it. They've got to maybe just get a little bit of variation. But Finn Russell and Ben Spencer are, the case in point you've just experienced. Brilliant up and under. Get the likes of Muir and Thokinasinger underneath the ball, challenge for it, and then off those 2 or 3 phases, Bath know they've got to be able to do it, because if it goes to a phase game, Northampton got it all day long.
And here are Northampton in their phase play. Tom Pearson, big carry after a mighty collision with Redpath. Oh, they're cooking now, Northampton. Lovely rugby. Furbank over to the far side. Slightholme, he kicks for himself. Is he going to score on his Slightholme? Oh, I think he may have done. I think he may have scored a great try in that far corner. The top try scorer in the league this season is at it again, and Northampton are rampant at Twickenham.
It looks like it's something off the training field, Ashley. The way that the lines are running, the slickness of handling. Bath aren't quite as fast off the line, but it's like rapid fire. Bath just don't know where to defend this.
It's Furbank. He's just such a class act in the outside channels. He's got speed, he's got such good feel for when to release the pack, but I actually think Slightholme's miskicked it.
I think he's trying to go more in field, isn't it? It's a lovely move, Ashley.
Yeah,
I'm seeing a replay of...
He looks to go inside with a kick and he miskicks it. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Well, if he hasn't miskicked it, it is one of the greatest bits of footballing skill, because he goes to kick it open and then kind of curves it back in, and he definitely got it down right over on the far corner. Ollie Slightholme, his dad John, a great Northampton winger, and like father, like son. Oh, like a great Bath winger. Both. as the kick is missed. So that's a tricky one for John Slightholme. Who's he? Wait, obviously supporting his son. That's a stupid question. But this is almost the Slightholme final, isn't it? And Ollie Slightholme is putting his stamp on it. Northampton lead 15-3.
I mean, if that's a taste of things to come in this final, I'm not sure how any team with 14 men are going to be able to defend against it. It's like Northampton have upped their focus and intensity, their accuracy from that first 10 or 15 minutes where a couple of balls went down, but it was no, keep at it, this will come, and my goodness me, has it.
Sarah Orchard, what's happening down on the touchline?
Well, you can understand that the Northampton bench has been going absolutely bananas with those tries, but I have to say, after Beno Obano was red carded on 21 minutes, loads of comfort and support going to him from his teammates, particularly Niall Annett on the bench. But in the last few seconds, Beno Obano has actually gone down the tunnel to the change room. I think he's seen enough for the day.
Well, Bath have won the penalty. As Northampton, I mean, it's like they're smelling blood here a bit, aren't they? They know that Bath are a man down. They've got real confidence. They lead 15-3. Again, they've tried to run it from their own 22. And then it looks like, well, Bath got a good counter-ruck in there. And then it was picked up in the ruck. So Christoph Ridley giving a penalty to Bath. Can they respond, Matt Dawson? They need to respond, don't they?
Yeah, right now. Bath are not getting many opportunities in the next 10 or 15 minutes.
This is Bath's strong point here, driving more.
Won them the game against Sale, didn't it? Or put the final stamp on that win. Ted Hill, they've got a beautifully formed maul. They are a man down up front, but that still looks a pretty solid setup. Redpart's come in, Spencer's directing traffic. Northampton have just about repelled it. Joe Cockney-Seeger's in there as well. Tom Dunn at the back. Alex Moon is in there as they peer around the corner. Tom Dunn's up to the line. He couldn't be much closer. Northampton hands trying to steal, but it's there for Bath. Thomas the Toy around the corner. He scored, and Bath have responded, and that will give all of these Bath fans a lease of life, because the 14 men in the blue, black and white have tumbled over, and they're right back in this Premiership final.
Yeah, fair play, Bath. That from the dejected heads down. Oh my goodness me, what on earth is happening in the world? It feels like the world is on those 14 shoulders on the pitch. And then a poor decision from Northampton to attack from out of their 22 when they didn't need to. There wasn't an overlap. Bath have pounced, and they've done it time after. Did it in the semi-final, they've done it again. Got to be clinical. Saints got to be more clinical.
8 tries this season, Mr. Toy.
Has he?
Wow. I don't think there's further than 8 metres gone. But that doesn't matter.
But no one's stopping him, are they, from there?
There's not a stat for that, is there?
And that
it's just a try.
That's a big one.
Right, Northampton 15, Bath 8. We're going to go back to Wembley in a sec. Let's just see whether Finn Russell can kick this from the right-hand touchline, near enough the touchline. Every point crucial in a final, especially when you're down to 14. 8 minutes to go till half-time. Finn Russell, lovely strike, lovely kick. Beautifully done by the Bath number 10. And the gap is only 5. And that's really given the Bath fans some encouragement, and it will give the players huge confidence too as we go back to Wembley. Richard Stead.
Yeah, I gave Wigan 2 extra points last time you were with us. I didn't need to. They've scored a second try. Bevan French scored it. He's had some first 25 minutes, John Keir.
He's had a great first 25, and that was from a scrum. And it was simply his dancing feet, his pace, that took him through a one-on-one defender and over the line. Great try.
Harry Smith converted. 12 and a half minutes to half-time. Warrington 2, Wigan 12.
Great stuff, Richard Stead and John Keir at Wembley. And if you want the Rugby League in full, just go to BBC One with Mark Chapman and the team.
Bath, use it, please.
But we'll be back with regular updates from Richard Stead and John Keir at Wembley as Bath clear their lines in the sunshine, cloudy overhead, but plenty of blue sky too. As Furbank is having a good game, isn't he? Actually comes forward to take that. You singled him out as perhaps a difference maker for Northampton. And so far he's having a big game as Northampton have it on the halfway line.
Yeah.
Well, penalty to Bath on this final has ebbed and flowed, hasn't it?
This is, if Bath can keep getting in this near the Northampton try line with penalties like this, it is dangerous. Against the semi-final against Sale, they dominated, just driving maul is so technically good. 14 players or not, they will score tries if you let them get that close. But yeah, just on Furbank too, I just enjoy watching him around the pitch where he puts himself in the right area in the attack to just give the fly half Finn Smith another option, constantly a threat at there, and he's got speed. his passes are always on the money. He's just got a great feel for the rugby game.
It's Bath going deep there. Bath trying to take the penalty, and that, I think, probably even going for the 5-metre line. That's the sort of pressure that they want to put on Northampton.
The voice of Matt Dawson, before him Chris Ashton, both Premiership title winners, as Bath lose that. Then it's been knocked on by Odendahl. Bath won't mind a scrum because their scrums look powerful all season and so far today. 5 and a bit minutes to go of the half, and Christoph Ridley says no advantage from the Berger Odendahl knock on. So Bath will have the scrum just to the right of the post, about 25 metres out or so. And if you're Bath here, guys, do you just put the squeeze on and try and scrum for a penalty and take the gap to 2?
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, the guy that came up with that, there's errors all over the place, but it was Ollie Lawrence that ended up with the ball there. We're 5 minutes before half time, and if the scrum doesn't go forward here, he's definitely the man that we haven't seen yet with the ball in hand, who can create chaos for the Northampton defence.
Well, let's go back to Sarah on the touchline. Sarah?
Yeah, all pretty tense down here, as you can imagine, but at the moment I've got the words of the Bath director of rugby, Johan van Graan, in my ears right now. Before this match started, I said if there was one area of this match you were really looking forward to seeing how they go head to head, what is it? And he said it's the breakdown, it's the physicality, it's the set piece, and I think we can see from Bath today that is certainly playing out.
Yeah, he can take the boy out of South Africa. Johan van Graan, he knows where games are won and lost, the bread and butter that served South African rugby so well the last couple of World Cups. And Christoph Ridley, Matt Dawson just having a word with both front rows. Bath need an area of the game they can really dominate, being a man down as they are with Abana sent off.
Yeah, they're the full focus on this set piece. Ball doesn't come out of this scrum unless it really has to get 3 points, get in the shed half time, a couple of points behind. And even if it does pop out of the first 2 or 3 phases, you'd expect either Spencer or Russell to be, I mean, that's so sloppy.
Done that twice. They've gone early, so a free kick's now become a penalty. Because
it's penalty now.
I imagine they're so desperate to try and get an advantage. They've just gone a little bit too early before the referee's call and given away a good attacking opportunity.
I mean, let's not kid ourselves here. Those front row, they know how to play the referee and play the game around there, and there'll be a little dummy, little shimmy, little squeeze. Go on, and you're right, Bath are keen to scrummage, and maybe just a little twitch from Langdon there in the middle, just to look like we're going for it.
Northampton did the same against Saracens. They played games. We've got Alex Waller in there, he's played about 900 games for Northampton. He knows the dark arts, and you can see Tom Dunn going to Christoph Ridley saying they are pulling out.
Well, the next score feels decisive, even though there's loads of rugby to play in this final. Northampton 15, Bath 10. But if you're just joining us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, Bath are a man down. As again, Northampton can't get their move right, but it's been knocked on. Will Muir, he's so quick on it, isn't he? Will Muir, he hacked it forward. He was almost under the post, but a little bit of a knock on in the tackle. Bath putting pressure on Northampton, whose attack broke down, but had been knocked on by Bath, so it will be a Northampton scrum. And that point Chris Ashton about the next score, another Northampton try would maybe break Bath's resistance. But if Bath can score and just start to get in Northampton's heads, despite being a man down, who knows what Bath can do in the second half.
Yeah, 2 minutes left here. I think Bath's plan here has got to be get in at half time. Save your legs as much as possible, because you can, defending against a team again like Northampton, just you can chase shadows sometimes and you feel lost with it. You end up spending more energy trying to defend them. Just make it easy for yourselves, get in at half time, regroup and set out your plan of attack next half for 14 men.
The scrum on centre field on the sponsor's logo. It's gone down on this near side, but Mitchell whisked it away to Smith. Smith's pass on the bounce. Slightholme, who scored the second try, overran it. A try for each of the Northampton wingers. He is so hard to put down, Ollie Slightholme, and he's away over the 10-metre line and not a million miles away from the 22. Bang in centre field, options left and right. They go left, Mitchell to Smith. Laws on the short ball. Corney Laws with the carry up to the 22. Mitchell, he loves working the blind side, and he's got a beautiful ball out there to Odendahl. Odendahl's only 7 metres short. Class from Alex Mitchell. And he now finds Alex Coles. Great stuff, Northampton, who lead by 5 on the stroke of half-time. Here's Courtney Laws, again he goes over the gain line. The Northampton skipper, Mitchell, to the left, ducking under the tackle of Spencer, who scragged him despairingly. Northampton know a try here on half-time would be huge. Tommy Freeman's hugging this touchline. Will he get a cross kick? Or will the Northampton forwards go to work? At the moment, it's the latter. Moon from Laws. As the roars from the Saints fans imploring their team to score once more. Pearson with a great carry, 2 metres short. They pick and go, they've given a penalty away, Northampton piling off their feet. Bath survive, that will be half-time. What a first 40, so much to talk about. And Bath, Matt Dawson, hang on the brink of the break.
Yeah, their Bath's defence is... if they're going to win this game, if they're going to win this Premiership, it is on one of the most monumental defensive performances that the Premiership has ever seen, and that's what they're focused on. That's what they've showed: heart, passion, desire, clinging on by the fingernails. I mean, it's still a mountain to climb for me, but my goodness me, Bath are putting on a shift.
It being finals, we always see these, even when there is 14 men, the close games, because lads, you know it's the end, you know it's it. Completely empty everything they've got, knowing that they're at home next week. So I think that's why we'll see a closer game than what we might do in a regular Premiership round.
Bath tap it and they belt it out, and that is half-time. Northampton 15, those 2 tries, Freeman and Slightholme. Thomas the Toy responding for Bath. Northampton 15, Bath 10, but Bath have to come from behind with 14 men, and only twice in Premiership Rugby history, Wasps in 04, Saracens in 19, have a team come from behind at half-time, and they've not done it a man down. A huge, huge task for Bath as they slope off the Twickenham pitch. But what a great first 40. Northampton 15, Bath 10, Sonia.
The odds appear to be stacked against Bath, don't they, as their players head off down the tunnel, and wherever Beno Obano is right now, you have to feel for him. Matt Dawson, did you have any qualms about that red card?
None whatsoever. I mean, at the time there was the 3 of us on comms there all sort of had that little sit up in our chair as if to say, that does look really bad. And on the rerun, I mean, it's red all day. It's a real shame for the game, because it was building up towards a very competitive afternoon with the way that Bath were playing, but unfortunately it's just unacceptable. And a head rush from Obano, a bad body position, getting excited for a big hit, shift of the quads upwards, and he was in trouble.
Chris Jones, where are we with the 20? Chris Ashton mentioned it, with the 20-minute red card, because it's been trialled.
Yeah, and it'll be trialled, and then it will go to discussion at sort of World Rugby Law forums, and it could be brought in, all being well, in the next season or two. It's certainly got a lot of backing from the Southern Hemisphere, and I think many in the Northern Hemisphere are coming round to it as well. There are plenty of unintended consequences. Would it lead to players being a bit more reckless because they know the sanction isn't as strong? On the other hand, people would say that supporters come to watch 15 on 15. Very difficult one to get right, because for every argument saying, look, you've got to get your tackle right, there's a counter argument. But yeah, Beno Obano could have hinged, he could have got lower. He'll know that he's made a mistake, and yes, there'll be Bath fans saying that Augustus maybe ever so slightly dipped, but that'll be splitting hairs. It was a red card, I think, a pretty clear one from Beno Obano.
Chris, I'm going to ask you this after we've been to the news and other sports, to whether you would vote in favour of a 20-minute red card. If it could be implemented in this game, would that be something that you would be in favour of? But don't answer me now, because we're going to go to the news now with Jill Mackenzie.
The voice of the UK.
And the home of the Euros and the general election 2024.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Israeli military has rescued 4 hostages from central Gaza. The 3 men and a woman were abducted by Hamas from the Nova Music Festival on the 7th of October. Lieutenant Colonel Peter Lerner is from the Israeli Defense Forces.
They were being held in civilian homes. We were able to reach there with our special forces, a combined force that was able to engage and extract safely the hostages that were being held. They came under fire, extensive fire. We have an officer that was wounded, injured. critically in the extraction and is currently in hospital.
Meanwhile, the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says dozens of Palestinians, including children, were killed or injured in the area where the rescue operation took place. The wife of the presenter, Michael Mosley, says she refuses to lose hope as efforts to find him continue. The 67-year-old vanished after setting off on a walk on Wednesday on the Greek island of Symi, where the couple were on holiday. The focus of the operation has moved to a remote mountainous area. Sir Keir Starmer's insisting the Labour manifesto won't include any surprise tax rises. Earlier, the party acknowledged that they'd inherit planned tax increases from the current government, including freezing income thresholds. The Liberal Democrats, meanwhile, say they'd spend £50 million a year maintaining 3 new national parks. They've also committed to planting 60 million trees per year. The party leader is Sir Ed Davey.
I believe this is hugely important for our environment. It will help the fight against climate change. It will help the fight against the nature crisis. We need to improve biodiversity. It helps people's health. One of the reasons I was playing tennis is because we want to get over the idea that our environment and leisure is so important for people's health. So yes, it's a big commitment, but it's one that we want to persuade people is the right commitment.
And the government says the reintroduction of restrictions on liquids in air passenger hand luggage is a temporary measure. The 100 millilitre limit will be reinstated at 6 regional airports at midnight, so security scanners can be updated.
BBC Radio 5 Live.
The home of Formula One.
Charles Leclerc wins his home race and becomes a Monaco Grand Prix winner.
It means a lot, obviously. It's a race that made me dream of becoming a Formula One driver one day.
8 races down, though. Next up, Formula One heads to Montreal in Canada, where Max Verstappen still leads the championship, but is the tide turning?
The Circuit.
Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
Sunday evening at 7.
Listen to live coverage of every lap
on 5 Live
and BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Sonia McLaughlin.
Yeah, and qualifying for the Montreal Canadian Grand Prix will be between 9 and 10 tonight on the BBC Sport website. So you can listen to that. We're here at Twickenham for the Gallagher Premiership final. Northampton Saints leading 15-10 against Bath, but Bath have had a man red-carded, so they are going to have to do it the hard way in the second half. It's half-time here, so it's also half-time nearly, I think, at Wembley, where it's the men's Challenge Cup final. Warrington Wolves, Wigan Warriors, Richardstead.
We're just waiting on a video referee decision here, Sonia. Less than 30 seconds to go to the hooter. Bevan French has crossed, but has he made a double movement in the act of scoring? What do you think, John Keir?
Well, the on-field call from the referee is no try, but the more and more I'm watching this, it's just his momentum that's taking him over the line, and he's placed the ball in the in-goal area. So it's very, very difficult to see from where we are, Richard. But this may well be overturned. The referee's call on field may well be overturned by the video referee. We'll have to wait.
Zach Eckersley scored the first. Bevan French has already got one. Harry Smith has converted both of them. Warrington led through a Pulis penalty. That's after 2 sin binnings, by the way. Mike Cooper in the second minute, Matt Duffy in the third. But with just seconds to go to the interval here, we're watching, as I get used to in Rugby League and Rugby Union, the big screen again, and there is no decision as yet, John.
Not as of yet, but they're having real difficulty down this Warrington left-hand side, holding Bevan French. He's having the game of his life in this first half.
So, coin's still in the air as far as this decision is concerned, Sonia, but at the moment, it's Warrington Wolves 2, Wigan Warriors 12.
Thank you very much, Richard. So let's go to the tennis. Iga Swiatek beating Yasmin Paolini in straight sets to retain the French Open title for a 3rd consecutive year. Russell Fuller was at Roland Garros for us.
And no woman has done that, Sonia, at Roland Garros since Justine Henin completed a hat-trick in 2007. Swiatek is still out on court, doing a couple of television interviews. I can also see Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova, who presented the trophy to her about 15-20 minutes ago. And some of the ball boys and ball girls are posing on the dais on the stage where Swiatek received her trophy for a photograph which probably brings to an end their fortnight's work. Greg Rosetsky, Annabelle Croft and David Law are here. 6-2, 6-1 was the score, David, in favour of Iga Swiatek. And in all honesty, it was competitive for just 3 games.
Yes, because Paolini actually broke first. She broke for 2-1. She was going toe-to-toe with Świątek, playing the sort of tennis that saw her beat Elena Rybakina and Mira Andreeva to get here. She showed no early nerves at that point, but then things changed dramatically. 10 games in a row for Świątek, who just asserted the level that she has that Jasmine Paolini simply doesn't. Angles, depth, power, the sort of tennis that has won her 3 titles before today and now 4.
Annabelle Gregg, Paolini can't have too many complaints, can she? Because as David said, when Świątek is in the mood and is able to impose herself like that, she does it on pretty much anybody in the world on this court.
Yes, I mean, she said in her speech, the runners-up speech, she said, you know, despite what happened, it was a very difficult day for me, very uncomfortable out here, but I'm proud of what I've achieved. And she should be proud because she's had a great run. She was very popular. The crowd loved her, especially those first 3 games when she got that break. You know, it was going wild for her, but she just couldn't keep up with the pace. Świątek was absolutely blitzing the ball, corner to corner, outright winners, and just swatting away second serve returns for absolute monstrous winners. And there didn't seem to be anything that Paolini could do. It was struggling, or actually at one point as if the match wasn't even going to reach an hour, but she just managed to get over that.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Annabelle. I mean, if you look at Paolini, she was brilliant for the opening 3 games, but it shows that she's a little bit one-dimensional. When her A game isn't working and you have someone with the defensive capability of Świątek, who's a complete player, there's not much you can do. You have to be able to bring Świątek forward to make her uncomfortable. You have to use the slice and you have to serve well. But on this surface, she is the new queen of clay. For me, I think she's going to be the first woman to get to double digits at the French Open. She is that good on this surface. Today was another dominant performance, and the sky is the limit. The question, can she put this sort of form onto the grass courts coming up at Wimbledon? That is the big question for the future.
Yes, 4 French Open titles now, and she's only very recently turned 23. In fact, on the first Friday of these championships. And if you look at the Hall of Fame, David, Grand Slam titles won on the women's side, moves ahead of Naomi Osaka and Kim Clijsters, draws level with Maria Sharapova and Martina Hingis, and she's only just turned 23. I think those names illustrate the impact she's made on this sport already.
Yeah, it's people like Serena Williams who've won 23, and we saw Martina Navratilova and Chrissy Evert on the court today giving her the trophy. They've won 19, and that sort of skews the numbers a little bit, really, because it's unfair to compare them to somebody who's 23 and making her way, but has already won 5. I mean, there's no telling what the future will hold, how fit she will stay, how motivated she will stay. But to use Greg's word, the sky is the limit, really, in terms of what she's capable of doing.
And briefly, Annabelle Gregg, what's your hunch about how she converts this form to the grass courts?
I think she might make her first semi-finals, but I don't think her game is quite good enough to win at Wimbledon yet.
Yes, I think she's always struggled and doesn't really like the grass. And I think when players slice balls down low to that forehand, she's got quite an exaggerated grip and she finds it more difficult to hit those big winners with the topspin. And her ball sits up a little bit more on the grass. So she's not comfortable on it, but I'm not going to say that she's not going to learn because she's a quick learner.
But fortunately, she doesn't need to worry about that this evening at least, as she poses for a few more photographs. She is the French Open champion for a 4th time, and Alfie Hewitt and Gordon Reid have just won 6-1, 6-4 in the wheelchair doubles final. They have beaten the second seeds Takuya Miki and Takita Oda, and that, Sonia, means they have won a 5th consecutive wheelchair men's doubles title at Roland Garros.
Excellent. Good stuff, Russell. Thank you very much. And of course, Russell Fuller and the team will be back tomorrow for the men's final at Roland Garros, which will be between Carlos Alcaraz and Alex Zverev. Chris Ashton, can you do that?
I can. It's not the right time for me, though. Sorry about that.
There's a chap in the crowd who's just literally done a handstand, stayed upright whilst necking a pint of beer. So, you know, that's pretty...
And we had a steward dancing. I could do both together, only later in the night, though.
Can we just say that he did it responsibly?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Oh, he was very responsible.
Yeah.
He had guards either side of him holding him upright so he didn't fall over, right? Okay, let's go to Wembley, the Rugby League. Richard Stead, have we got a decision, I am assuming, on that video review?
Yeah, we certainly do. It was a no try, given us either a double movement or John Keir that the ball wasn't grounded properly. We couldn't hear what Liam Moore was saying, but it's no try.
No, it's no try, but I honestly believe it. If the referee would have ordered it try, there was no evidence to overturn it, so they had to go with the soft on-field call of no try. So they'll feel hard done to will the Wigan Warriors, but my word, the Warrington Wolves needed that because they were under the cosh.
You've coached 2 wins here, John, 2 very different games for both Sheffield Eagles and Hull FC. What are the coaches saying in the dressing rooms at half-time?
Well, Sam Burgess has got more to fix up than Matty Peake, that is for certain. So he'll be looking for his team to cut out the errors and end their sets better. And Matty Peake for Wigan will just say, carry on, fellas, and get that ball to Bevan French. He's on fire.
Half-time here then, Sonia. Wigan in control, 12 points to 2. And don't forget, we've got thousands of people from Wigan here. I can easily ask someone if Chris Ashton can do a cartwheel.
He's laughing and nodding. Can you?
Yes,
yeah.
Many Wiganers can too.
Yeah.
Good to hear the winning.
I bet you can. We were just talking, weren't we, before we went away to the news about the potential for a 20-minute red card in rugby union, Chris. Do you agree with it?
My biggest concern is it shouldn't be. It's an individual error by Benno Urbano, and maybe he should be more severely punished by missing fixtures as opposed to the whole team suffering. That's the biggest gripe that I have. They should suffer for 20 minutes and then we shouldn't ruin the whole game.
And that's Sonia, the exact World Rugby justification for this 20-minute red card, which will be discussed in a council meeting in November. Harsher sanctions for matches being missed. The player who's done the offence still misses the whole game, but he can be replaced after 20 minutes, so it kind of doesn't affect the whole game. It really punishes...
Which would mean Bath coming out with 40...
Which would mean they come out with 15, and it punishes the individual more than the team and the game. There'll be plenty of opposition to it, but if the trials work, it'll be ratified potentially in November, and it could be coming in to the game next year. So definitely something to keep an eye on. But for now, red means red. Ben Urbano off, and Bath 14 men for an hour.
Yeah, Finn Russell on the centre spot, ready to hit this second half underway. Bath are going to have to do it the hard way. They trail Northampton Saints 15-10 with that man given a red card. Chris.
5 points in it, a man difference. As Finn Russell prepares to kick off, and Christoph Ridley says let's go to Russell in their trademark blue and white. Northampton in their green, black and gold, both in their classic strips, these two great clubs of English rugby union. The second half underway in the Premiership final. Northampton 15, Bath 10. And after that Urbano red card, 2 quick Northampton tries, the Saints were rampant, but Bath have hung in there. They got their score through Thomas du Toit, and they were able to cut the gap to 5. Who strikes first in this second half as Mitchell clears the lines? And it's taken by Gallagher on the halfway line. Will Bath attack? Can they attack with the same intensity with a man down? They'll have a go, surely. Although you imagine that Spencer and Russell will look to play a fair bit of territory and say to the likes of Will Muir, go and chase the high kicks. And that's what Spencer's going to do from the halfway line. He sent up, as always, a picture-perfect box kick that Tommy Freeman takes over his head, Aussie rule style, and he sets it up, Matt Dawson, just inside his 22. Yeah, I thought maybe a little bit of comms from his Northampton teammates there to tell him that he was in the 22, could have called for a mark. But I've got a feeling we're going to see a lot of kicking, a lot of box kicking, attacking in the attacking zone from Bath, from Finn Russell, from Ben Spencer to take the risk out of it. Well, Mitchell kicked down the throat of Gallagher. Now Russell, he's going to attack himself, sells the dummy and throws a lovely ball to Joe Cokanasiga, who storms over the 10-metre line. Penalty, Bath, Northampton don't roll. And Chris Ashton, Ben Spencer had a look at the tap, but a man who's won all that he's won, 4 Prems and 3 Champions Cups, he knows about scoreboard pressure, and Russell will have a kick to take the gap to 2.
It's the first minute of the second half, we've seen Finn Russell just grab a ball from the air and go, I'm going to have a look here. And he had all the options. He had a kick option, he could pass, he could run. He took the right one, made half a break, fed a ball through to Joe Cokanasiga. That's the Finn Russell we want to see. We need to see more of him from Bath, 14 men or not. He can win you a game if he's got 12.
Yeah, that's the danger and the talent of Finn Russell there, because in the changing room it's just told me what Northampton's coaching staff have been saying to Northampton about what Bath are going to do, because Northampton stood off as Finn Russell's shaping for the big up and under in the middle of the field. Northampton are sort of got half a mind on getting back and helping in the backfield. But when you're up against Finn Russell, he sees half a gap. Doesn't matter what his coach is saying, he is going to do what he thinks is right, and on that occasion was spot on.
Russell bang in front, 15-10 Northampton, this for 15-13, nice strike, he's down, he's picked the tee up, he's got it. Bath are within 2. 3 minutes into the second half, Northampton 15, Bath 13. Sarah Orchard down on the touchline. What was the body language like with the Bath players as they ran out?
I'll tell you what, Chris, they were all business as they came out onto the pitch. Northampton did look more relaxed, but there needs to be that steely determination from Bath. And worth knowing, Chris, stat from our good friend Ross Petty on X. He said Premiership Finals 1 went down at half-time. Wasps 2004, they were down by 3. And then Saracens 2019 down by 6. Could it be a hat-trick today?
Yeah, well, neither were down to 14. So if Bath were to do it, not only would they go into the record books alongside those sides, but they would be out there on their own, you feel. But they've given a penalty away, Bath, and now it's an interesting call for Northampton. Matt Dawson.
Straight back.
You would kick the goal here, would you?
100%.
Yeah, well, Finn Smith...
100%. Take the sting out of it.
Maybe it's a generational thing because Finn Smith popped it into the corner.
I don't think it's got a generational thing. I think it's all about how you feel on the pitch. The finals, you have to assume you're going to win this game by 1 point. It's a final. We don't give a monkeys about the score. It's about picking up the trophy. But if Northampton are in the mood to say, no, this is how we want to take on Bath in this momentum, then they go for what they think strong.
And they're 6 metres out with the line out. A Northampton score will settle some Saints' nerves as Augustus, great pick-up. South African to South African, Augustus to Odendahl, he lost it forward. I thought he'd picked it up off his bootlaces, Berger Odendahl. And Sam Underhill's put in another shot. Well, Finn Russell's getting some pats on the back as well.
That was all Underhill.
Time off, please. At the minute,
he's a missile.
He is one of the greatest tacklers the game has seen. Well, maybe a bit of hyperbole, but he is a brilliant tackler, Sam Underhill. And Finn Russell gets in there as well to force the knock-on. And Bath survives. So maybe Northampton will rue not kicking the point. And
it's a generational thing.
But tell me, does the Northampton mindset, they've got to get it out of their heads that they're playing 14? Because often the team with 15 v 14 wins, but we do see teams with the extra man force it a bit or maybe go off script because they know they should have the advantage. So how do they go about it mentally, Northampton?
It's absolutely irrelevant. Northampton could be playing against 13 men. You're playing in a final. What, you think Bath are going to roll over? Because they got 14 men or 13 men. They're playing in the final in front of tens of thousands of their fans. They're going to give whatever they can possibly give to make it awkward. So from a Northampton point of view, of course it's very simple here from the sideline, but the mentality is we do what we've set out to do from the off.
2 weeks in the semi-final, they went for goal there, Northampton.
Of course they did.
They took the points. So today,
totally
something's happened here.
Is it the 14?
Something's happened.
Because they know they're up against the pack that's a man down with Barbary.
But the pack's not a man.
Yeah, Barbary's off. Bath sacrificed Barbary.
They did. They took
so I wonder if that's
off.
influenced their thinking.
And it's an interesting play what they just did on the line out, off the top, 5 metres out. You haven't been in that position once in this game yet. You don't go off the top generally first up. And they've got 7 forwards. They should have gone into him. They've missed the trick there, Northampton.
Right, well, amongst all that, Berger Odendahl is getting some treatment, which might curtail his afternoon. Sarah Orchard on the touchline.
Yeah, he took quite a clattering in that last collision, and he's now having to limp off the field in this final. Such a sad end for Berger Odendahl, who had an incredible impression on Northampton in their semi-final. It means that George Hendy is onto the field, and the only slight chink of light that Bath fans might be taking from all of this is they went for a 6-2 split on the bench, so it means Northampton only have one more back available to them. But sad scenes for Berger Odendahl, who's now off the field for the Saints.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. 15-13 Northampton. If you're just joining us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, Iga Swiatek has won again at Roland Garros. She's the Women's French Open champion once more in the Challenge Cup men's final. Warrington 2, Wigan 12 at the break. We'll have the latest from Richardson and John Keir through the second half. That's over on BBC One. Later on Sports Extra, big game for England in the T20 World Cup, Australia-England. That's on Sports Extra from 6 as Bath win the penalty here at Twickenham. 2 points down. They've kicked the only points actually of this second half, and this time they do get that scrum dominance they crave, and Northampton have missed a big opportunity to extend their lead.
I can't understand. Northampton tried to pile through it. There's absolutely no need whatsoever. Bath are the team that are under all the pressure, 5 metres out. Why you would not just allow them to have the ball, I have no idea. But this can be playing to the inexperience of the Saints and being in this situation. And how young the average age of the team is great, but in situations like this you need someone to take control.
Yeah, it's not as if you can, Corley Laws can't make every decision. You need 4, 5, 6 players.
Well, Bath have overshot their line out, and then Northampton lose it. So it will be a Bath scrum. So they've actually edged up the field, whether through accident or design. And Bath would have the scrum just outside their own 22. But they got a scrum penalty, and if they get another one, they could move into Northampton territory. I mentioned Iga Swiatek winning the French Open. Tomorrow from 2, you can listen to the final of the men's French Open with Russell Fuller, David Law, Greg Rosetsky and Annabelle Croft. That's from 2 o'clock on 5 Live Sport, and there should be a classic as well with Carlos Alcaraz up against Alexander Zverev. Scrum Bath just outside their own 22. Northampton 15, Bath 13. Full house, bathed in sunshine, blue skies above. Penalty Northampton. It's tit for tat at the scrum, and now going to be so interesting whether Finn Smith does take the points at goal. Matt Dawson, very kickable, and he's having a chat and he's going for goals. They had a nibble at the line-up before, but now they're going back to playoff mode and saying let's take 3 points.
Yeah, he's just got to take the sting out of the last 7 minutes where Bath have been, not necessarily in control, but they get that early 3 points, they get it back to 2, they hold out in defence. It would have been a really quite a nasty, demoralising 10 minutes if Northampton got back to the halfway line without picking up any points.
Here's Smith then, Finn Smith. Up he steps, nice strike, curling it in beautifully. Saints on the board in the second half, and their gap is back out to 5. Northampton 18, Bath 13. 7 minutes into the second half, the Premiership final on 5 Live. Chris Ashton or Finn Russell's gone quickly, and Northampton were really sleeping, but George Hendy's done very well eventually to scoop it up, and he is off Hendy on as a replacement and full of energy, and he finds Fraser Dingwall near this touchline just below us, 10-metre line. 18-13 to Northampton. Mitchell kicks, it's loose from the charge down. Cam Redpath has it, lovely ball out there to Gallagher. Gallagher's got Muir on this touchline, a little bit isolated, but now he gets some support. In Bath possession, we've barely seen them put any phases together. They've come into the game with a strategy to defend and try and pick up off the counter-attack. Here's Finn Russell showing and then going out the back to Ollie Lawrence, and Lawrence tries to get past Slightholme and does. That's a great carry from Ollie Lawrence into the 22. Spencer now, they're queuing up. Schumann into the 22, the Bath forwards. Finn Russell on the gain line, lurking, finding Redpath. Redpath shakes off one and another. Finds Muir, this rangy athlete on the left wing. He couldn't quite get it away, but Bath are putting some phases together, which we haven't said for most of this game. Charlie Ewell's their stalwart second row. Spencer now out to Russell, who's just starting to flirt on the gain line. He goes inside to Gallagher. Does Russell think of a drop goal? Do they think of just chipping away at Northampton's lead?
Use it.
Spencer, as the ball is slowed up. Remember, Bath are down to 14 after Benno Abano was sent off. 5 points the Northampton lead at Twickenham. Ticking towards the 50-minute mark on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Finn Russell again, to the right he comes, on the 22. Gallagher caught by a couple as Northampton try and hold him up. They force them all, and this will end up being a Northampton scrum, unless Gallagher can somehow get it back. He hasn't been able to, and Northampton snuff out that Bath attack. and they have the scrum as we go back to Wembley, early stage of the second half. Richard still in the Challenge Cup final.
Yeah, Warrington have just had a chance, Chris, but Wigan's right edge defence bundling Matty Ashton into touch. This was after a Bevan French knock-on, a rare mistake from the number 6. 3 minutes gone in the second half. Warrington 2, Wigan 12.
Happy with that, Chris Ashton?
Yeah, great defence.
No, I'm talking about the Wigan score.
So am I.
We know where your loyalties really, really lie. It's not
So
Northampton. It's not Saracens. It's all about the Warriors, isn't it?
I was paying some attention to Joe Thocknasinger there, actually. He just can't seem to get himself in the game. It's such a shame. Such a big man. Can be so destructive. He just seems to drift from one side to the other, and he can't get a pass for love nor money. He is someone, if I was in the Bath team, I'd definitely be trying to get him on the ball. But look, Bath are trying to attack them. When you've got 14 men and you're not really going anywhere, it's hard to create an edge anywhere, and Bath defended it really well.
It's
Northampton.
not like he's looking for a lot of action.
This is what I can't get my head around.
Yeah.
Go get the ball, Joe.
Go looking, yeah. I mean, Bath, to be honest, look, when they've got the ball, they look so rudderless. I mean, Finn Smith, when he gets maybe a bit of front foot ball, there's that 1 or 2 phases, but then they slow themselves down. They look disorganised, like they haven't expected to have the ball today.
Oh, it's going to be a penalty scrum to Bath as Northampton go early this time. So that's a fascinating fact. I mean, not many of these scrums are being completed, but it's still so interesting, actually, how it's going one way and then the other. Both teams kind of getting a bit of dominance and misdemeaning in equal measure. Bath surely have to scrum here.
Tap.
Well, I don't get that call, because they are tapping. Tom Dunn tapped, and it may not have even gone through the mark, but referee was happy, and now they're setting it up 7 or 8 metres out, Underhill Drive. Still feels like they're quite far away to pick and go, but they've got an advantage as Northampton slip offside, and Northampton will have to scramble here. Bath through Spencer. He goes cross-field for Muir. Big moment in the final. Oh, it's been knocked into the dead ball area, and Muir has scored. And Matt Dawson's given it the thumbs up. Has it gone backwards off Northampton or forward off Bath? If it's the former, it's a try for Bath, a try for Muir, and Bath are level in the Premiership final. It'll all go down to the replay.
Yeah, of course it will go to the replay, but couple of things. One, reaction from the players, from Bath.
So your on-field decision is try? Okay, so looking for clear and compelling evidence to overturn. Just bear with me, please.
Players was, oh my, yes, we've got that, because Hendy went up, looked like he was flapping for the ball, rather than either going for the catch or, I mean, or just getting in the air so he couldn't get, but he got caught in between the two. It was over his head.
Next angle should be our best one, Christoph.
I think Hendy's gone for this with both hands, has tapped it back into his own goal area, and Muir has scooped it up.
So it's played by Northampton there.
I don't think Muir's touched it.
We're just going to see if it
Maybe we'll see a different angle. Hendy has definitely, predominantly been the player who has tapped it backwards, but has Muir just skimmed it?
Backwards.
Remember, the on-field decision is try, so the evidence has to be clear. If it's not clear, then it's going to be a Bath try. It's going to be a Bath try, given by Christoph Ridley. And listen to this noise from the blue, black and white. Bath are level at 18 all. And Russell has a kick to put Bath into the lead, Chris Ashton.
I was watching Ben Spencer in the middle of the field thinking, what are you doing? He was going so slow at the ruck. All the back sweep round this side. I didn't see Muir on the other corner. What a kick from Ben Spencer. But George Hendy, the Saints winger, it's a 5-on-1. How is he not seen Will Muir and dropped off a little bit and give himself a chance to get up and get the ball? But can't take anything away from what Spencer and Muir put together there.
He unfortunately, George Hendy just got sucked in with the occasion, with that moment, wanting to get off the line, but he hasn't actually looked up. He hasn't looked ahead of himself to say, who am I marking? Oh, Muir's out wide.
Wow. Quiet all around Twickenham, 80,000 lowering their voices. Finn Russell, 4 metres in from touch, 18 all in the Premiership final, 52 minutes on the clock. Here is Russell
great strike. He just pulled it left, snatched it a tiny bit. We're deadlocked at 18 all. A maybe example there, guys. George Hendy at 21. Good with the ball going forward, but Muir 28. All that sevens experience, he's just beaten him to the punch.
We said it early in the game, he is so good in the air. When you've got a threat like that, you don't need to play the phases, just kick it in the air to him.
Ted Hill's under that. Tackle coming in by Northampton and Freeman. Can Northampton respond? They're working hard at the breakdown. This might, though, just end up in Bath possession. Right, I imagine it's all happening down there on the touchline, Sarah.
Yeah, you've got changes for Bath as well. They need those fresh legs, so we can see Narlana onto the field now, also Will Stewart. So changes in the forward so far, but they're going to have to use that bench sensibly, Bath.
All new front row, yeah. Annette, Schumann and Stewart all coming on. Remember, if you're just joining us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, Beno Urbano was sent off after 22 minutes. So Bath will have to play 60 minutes a man down. And they've managed to turn this around to 18 points all. A brilliant effort by Bath. What have Northampton got? It's sent into centre field where Fraser Dingwall will do the heavy lifting. He sets it up. Remember, Berger Odendal's come off, so Northampton have had to go to their bench with Hendy on for Odendal and had to reshuffle a little bit. Here's Finn Smith, a little kick. Oh, Courtney Laws is trying to chase, but that will dribble out. And I imagine, actually, this means that Tommy Freeman's gone into the midfield now.
Yeah.
Which slightly alters the whole dynamics of the Northampton backline.
Yeah, when he's been playing on the wing for so many weeks, it definitely does. I'm just watching Dingwall's down because he's been hit by guess who off the line out. Sam Underhill again. If this game ended right now, he is without doubt man of the match of this game.
And here are the perils of a 6-2 bench. Loads of teams are doing it. But if you lose a couple of backs, you could be in real trouble. Because if Dingwall doesn't recover here, Matt Dawson, Tom James, the 9, has to come on and he'll have to go and play wing or something. And they might have to bring another one of their back 3 into the midfield as Bath win the line out and they set it up 5 metres out from their own line. Is that Underhill again?
It is.
He's carrying the ball as well, Sam Underhill. We know he's made of tough stuff. We know he's a test match player to his boot strap, Sam Underhill. A key part of Steve Borthwick's side in the Six Nations. He's having a blinder for Bath. Good kick, Spencer, taken by Slighthope. Furbank then loses it. And Bath might be able to counter-attack. Toy wins it to Russell. Russell sees some space. That vacant Northampton backfield. 50-22 is on. What a kick, Finn Russell! And Bath will have the line out. 7 metres out from the 50-22. Genius from the Scotland captain. And Bath have completely wrestled this momentum back their way.
Yeah, they're not only are they getting momentum themselves within their team. Northampton, Langdon down, still down after that hit from Underhill. Dingwall midfield still feeling his injury. And now Bath are in their slot. They are in the place. So you can guarantee this week, this is what they've been practicing. 10 yards, 5 yards out. Can they go through their drill, get some momentum and score tries like they have all season?
Well, this is promising to be a grandstand finish. 25 minutes left of the English Rugby Union domestic season as Sam Underhill sends it out the back to Finn Russell, who's slightly caught in possession. And so Bath weren't able to get the ball rolling there for Charlie Ewells, and he drives on. Do you think Russell was talking the week, wasn't he talking with Sarah on the pod about drop goals? I wonder whether he'll think about one as Ben Spencer comes to the left to Ollie Lawrence. Remember, Bath are a man down there. Joe Cocknesiga getting a bit of ball over on the far side. But Bath don't look hugely threatening with the ball in hand. Their big forwards, though, have been heroic to a man this afternoon. Spencer out to Russell. Russell out the back. He sends it to Gallagher. Ted Hill's on this touchline. Good tackling coming in by Northampton. And, oh, Lawrence, good offload. Got it away to his former Worcester teammate Ted Hill. Ben Spencer, he's trying to milk a penalty. Not going to get it from Christoph Ridley. Charlie Ewells, 22. 15 metres in from this right touchline. Spencer, the ball is slow here, Ashley. What are Bath going to do?
Where's Will Muir? That's what I'd be thinking right now. Stick it in the air and let him get after it. But, I mean, Finn Russell's got to be thinking about drop goal right now. They're not going anywhere.
Underhill, another big carry into a man he laced them up with England, Courtney Laws, who makes another big hit as Bath tried to get some momentum. Northampton looking to spoil. Good counter up Northampton. They may have got this. Tommy Freeman's in there and done some fantastic ripping work. and Northampton can maybe go on the counter. No, Langdon's lost it. Curtis Langdon may be still feeling the effects of that shoulder injury, and Bath will have the scrum slap bang in centre field, 20 metres out.
Langdon could be shaking his arm as much as he likes. If he catches that and passes it, he'd be running in support and scoring a try in the corner. That is what they call one of those embarrassing injuries, because he's made a howler. Brilliant steal from Freeman. Sort of, that's the spirit I think Northampton need to have a look at. Freeman, a winger, over the ball, fighting, battling, scrapping with one arm to try and nick the ball. Northampton are off the ball. They've rattled big time here. If you were in that Bath huddle, you would be focused on just doing these simple things right. Short side, I know we were gesticulating a bit to each other there, Ashley, about Bath not being down the short side, but they should be doing it. They should be milking it. Stretching Northampton at their physical best. As soon as Bath start going a bit wide, that's where I would get a little bit worried if you were the Bath coach, because it just doesn't need to happen. The penalties are going to come.
Two things that Bath don't need to overthink here is Finn Russell has not once looked for a drop goal yet, not bothered. And the other thing is, while Will Muir is just not stood constantly on the left-hand touchline any time they're near the 22, that's as difficult it needs to get for Bath right now. You got the threat out there, use him. And Finn, he's got to recognise they're not going anywhere. They need their energy. They've only got 14 men. Just at least have a go at it.
New bodies up front for Northampton as the scrum crumples. What's Christoph Ridley going to decide? He's going to have a reset. Let's go quickly back to the Challenge Cup, Richardstead.
Yeah, Wigan still lead by 12 points to 2 in truth. Still the best chance of the second half. That Matty Ashton one in the early stages. Defensive on top. We're at a bit of a grind stage of the game. 25 minutes to go. Warrington 2, Wigan 12.
Nice one, Richard. Back with you and John Keir shortly. It's over on BBC One. Sarah on the touchline. Looks like an all-new Saints front row.
Yeah, that's right. I'm watching at the moment Curtis Langdon receiving treatment for his shoulders and his arm after he went off the field. So on in his place, we've already got Elliot Millar-Mills and Sam Matavesi into the field. And we should say a few moments ago, before they came on, have to give him a mention all on his own. Alex Waller made his way off the pitch. Again, a man retiring has given so much to this team. A lot will be said about Courtney Laws after this match, but a lot to be said about Alex Waller as well.
Yeah, 100%. He was the hero 10 years ago. Who is going to be the hero? Who are going to be the heroes? It's 18 all on the hour mark. The Premiership final as Bath attack on the 22. Finn Russell out to Ollie Lawrence. Great ball, Cokanasiga, but he knocks it on. The 14 men of Bath have to be super accurate, and the accuracy just deserted them then.
Cokanasiga's got to expect it though. Great offload, you can't knock Ollie Lawrence for that. Taking the tackle, taking two Northampton players out, you've got to expect that little sort of side door pass.
It's got to be
flick
desperate
with the
for
right
it.
hand, yeah.
It's got to be desperate for it.
Matavesi throws, Courtney Laws up there to claim it. But it's such a fascinating final 20 in store, because you've got Northampton, who had a healthy lead, who have the man advantage. They're being rattled by Bath. So they're going a little bit back to basics here, the Saints, and they're rolling them all, and Mitchell's coming down the blind side. He had slight hope, didn't quite use him, didn't need to use him. Oh, Bath are on that ball. They've got the penalty. Thomas the Toy, the tight head, over that ball, locked on it. And now do Bath fancy a popper goal? They have to surely go for goal, as tough as it might be from 5 metres in from touch, 40 metres out. No. Oh, they're sending it to Gallagher. I don't know, Matt.
I feel differently about this one. I think they're doing the right thing here. It's a big kick, and Saints are all over the place.
And you think Bath can sense that?
Yeah, keep playing with it, keep them down here. The last thing Bath wanted to be back down there playing against an extra man. Keep them down here as long as possible. Keep putting the pressure on Saints, but all the momentum's with Bath here.
So, yeah, Lewis Ludlow coming on there for Tom Pearson. Hopefully not only bringing a little bit of enthusiasm, but some decision-making as well, some leadership. Bath surely dry. I mean, they've called a slightly short line out here, so maybe something intricate. This is made for Finn Russell and a bit of magic.
Niall Annett to Ted Hill, front of the line. It's been all Bath the last few minutes. hour gone at Twickenham. Northampton 18, Bath 18. The 14 men of Bath are inspired, and they're rolling them all from 20 to 10 metres out. Here's Ben Spencer waiting for the ball. He flips it out to Russell. Russell to Redpath. He goes round the back, Johnny Sexton style, and tried to get Cokanasiga through that gap. He shrugged off a tackle at Cokanasiga. Now here's Spencer. He sends it out to Ted Hill. A little bit structureless here, Bath, but they've got a brilliant territorial gain on Northampton. Toy out to this near touchline to Underhill, but Gallagher's pass was forward. And you just feel, Chris Ashton, you put your head in your hands, you know the Bath have got to take these opportunities. They don't look like they've got too much shape with the 14 men. Do they have to think about crossfield kicks and drop goals and anything just to come away with points?
I can't understand why they're going wide first phase. You've only got 14 men. You just don't go wide first phase, but it's obviously what Finn Russell's called. Just keep it tight. The maul got stopped eventually, but just keep it the forwards tight. Keep in this area. Keep the ball for a bit of time. Don't just fire a shot where you've got to go through the phases and earn the right to go wide.
If you were George Hendy now, you're petrified. You're sitting there thinking, oh,
I hope they don't kick it.
Every time Finn Russell gets the ball, don't kick it near me. So do it. Get it up there. Challenge and put some worry, put some angst amongst the opposition.
Oh, Bath again went to work on the Northampton scrum, but the Saints do have it. They do set it up, and then Mitchell's lost it. Oh, but he was offside, Finn Russell. They're really getting at Mitchell, and he lost it. But Christoph really decided that it was done illegally, so Northampton can just breathe a bit, and through Finn Smith can go up to the halfway. Right, try at Wembley. Which way's it gone, Richard?
Liam Farrell's won 3 Challenge Cups already. He's maybe scored a try, which will mean he'll lift a 4th, John Keir.
Yeah, it was a sensational pass from Jai Field, the other Australian of the dynamic duo, and Farrell just had enough pace to cross, and that's 150 plus career tries for a back rower.
Harry Smith's 3 from 3. Wigan lead 18 points to 2 against Warrington at Wembley.
Oh, Chris Ashton, happy man.
Amazing news. They've been dominant all year, so it's great to continue in that form.
Harry Smith as well, though, isn't it? I mean, his kicking coach is world class.
Yeah, his kicking coach is one of the best around. Yeah, one of the best in the business. Certain Mr. Paul Great, a great friend of ours on 5 Live, doing wonders with the Warriors. Northampton 18, Bath 18. Northampton 10-metre line. Alex Coles. They've hardly put together anything in this second half, the Saints, because Bath are just killing them physically. And they've got them at the breakdown again, and Bath have won the penalty. And if you're Northampton, someone's got to step up and just get them back playing, because Bath are just winning all these little exchanges.
Yeah, they are, Chris. I can't even begin to disagree with that. And yet when the whistle goes, 4 Bath players were on their knees. Shot, gone, disappeared. Now, if you're a coaching staff or you're a senior player, you might even be on the bench as a player, you've got to get the message on to say, we've got this team with fitness. We run the ball ragged. If you're Northampton, get back to what they were doing. The risky balls, the wide plays, the offloads, speed the game up, quick tap penalties. Bath are on their knees. And they're one-up runners, no supporting clear, making it really easy for Bath.
Not too many times this season have Northampton been going into the last 15 minutes and not already won the game. They've been comfortable, they've blown teams away a lot of the time. As we're seeing Sam Underhill come off, hopefully we will see him again.
Yeah, Sarah on the touchline, Underhill walking right by you there.
Yeah, he's coming off and he's holding on to his ear, so he's going off for a little bit of blood, and they'll be hopeful that this is just a blood sub with Miles Reid coming on. Although he's wearing 23, he is a forward, so there is a chance that Underhill could still resume his place in this final.
Yeah, give him a few minutes to have a breather and get him back out there. He's on it today, isn't he, Underhill?
That's exactly what they're doing there. Yeah, that for me is very clever coaching. A hint of an injury around the blood there, get it sorted, get a stitch, whatever it takes, but don't hesitate about trying to put a bit of Vaseline on it for the couple of minutes. Give him the rest, because Bath are going to need him.
His ears are wrecked, by the way. They're a wrecked set of ears.
18 all, remember, Bath were 15-3 down and a man down. when Northampton scored that second try through Slideham. They were 15-3 up, and Northampton fans would have been cock-a-hoop. It's now 18-all, and Bath have Northampton a bit on the ropes, but can they put together some phases to worry Northampton in defence?
Don't play the line.
25 metres, maybe 30 metres out, Spencer. They're a man down. They've just lacked a little bit of shape, Bath, but they have been so heroic physically. Spencer digging for the ball. He's told to leave it on the Northampton forwards. Here's Cameron Redpath, who won that last turnover penalty. And again, you're asking for the cross kick, actually, but they might not need to. Northampton infringe again. And Bath, 100%. I know we've been asking whether they're going to kick the goals, both teams. They 100% are going to kick the goal here, you'd think. It's slap bang in front. It's 18-all in the Premiership final.
Yeah, of course. Of course, get it over. Don't mess around. Guys. Run the clock down maybe a little bit. That's sensible. Take the time for the decision. I love this work. They know exactly what they're doing. Don't worry about that. It takes 3 people to make that decision, and when they all knew it were going for goal. Northampton trying to keep an eye on Courtney Laws here as well. Where's the chat?
It's just so naive from Northampton. Yeah. Giving penalties away here. That's far too many penalties in a game like this.
And it's not as if Bath are really threatening with the ball in hand,
is it? Not at all. They're just relying and waiting for Northampton to give a penalty away.
Well, Northampton have to find a way here, because at the moment the momentum is all with Bath, who have been possessed, even despite going down to 14 men. And Finn Russell has a chance with 13.5 minutes left of the Premiership final at Twickenham to put Bath in the lead. They were 15-3 down. This to put them 21-18 up. Up steps Russell, straight through. Bath lead the Premiership final. Northampton 18, Bath 21.
Well, huge set piece now. Kick-off on the money to Chase. Get the ball in Northampton's hand. They must go through the phases. Bath cannot survive 6, 7, 8 phases here.
Oh, Tommy Freeman's gone up and won the kick-off. Alex Mitchell's sniping as well. At last, a bit of ball for Northampton in the Bath 22. Matavesi, Finn Smith, now they're carrying with a little bit of intensity. Slap bang in centre field. There for Mitchell. Ludlam picked it up, actually. Lewis Ludlam just inside the 22. Bath are on that ball. Does Finn Smith think about another drop goal? Or can they use the extra man here, Northampton, and just wear Bath down through a sheer weight of phases? Manny Eogan drives the loose head. Mitchell, Finn Smith on the gain line, finds Lewis Ludlam, the club captain. His final game in the colours. Mitchell to Finn Smith. An option inside, an option outside. He might be held up. He's done very well. Good strength from the youngster. Finn Smith out to Courtney Laws. What's Laws got in terms of his leadership? Penalty Northampton, and Mitchell's gone quickly. That was very kickable. Still Alex Mitchell. But Bath are looking to steal that. Have they done it? Not quite. It's Northampton's ball. It's 7 metres out. 21-18 to Bath as we edge towards the final 10. Mitchell going quickly, just trying to put some pace on the game. It's still in Northampton possession.
He's never on the ball.
Lewis Ludlam from the little pop from Alex Moon. Under the crossbar. Can Northampton score a try that potentially could send them to the Premiership title? Tommy Freeman's in the centre now, and he takes it from Dingwall. Mitchell, to the right he goes. They drive through Miller Mills to about 7 or 8 out. Mitchell comes to the right. Henty, tiny bit isolated, but manages to set it up. Mitchell, 6 metres out or so now, Northampton. The forwards drive once more. 21-18 to Bath. Northampton's best passage in ages. Centre field, Fraser Dingwall had Tommy Freeman offering himself. Great tackling again coming in by the blue, black and white of Bath. Then it's been knocked on by Northampton, and Bath celebrate. They'll have the scrum, and Northampton pass up a big opportunity in the final.
I can't believe what Mitchell's just done. It goes back to what we said earlier with them going to the corner. They're just not thinking straight. He should have. His fly half's on the floor, injured. How have they not gone for goal and even this game up?
Right, a few forwards taking on some water, understandably so. Back to Wembley, Richard Stead.
Matt Duffy's made the final 15 minutes a bit more interesting. Chris, he's crossed for the Warrington Wolves. Thewlis has converted quick as a flash, and with 15 minutes to go, it's Warrington Wolves 8, Wigan Warriors 18.
Thank you very much, Richard. BBC One for the final stage of the Challenge Cup final. And both the Bath team and the Northampton team, Matt Dawson, are in a huddle.
Yeah, that last passage of play, Chris, not once did you mention the word Finn Smith, because he was down injured, he was out of the play, getting treated, so they had no direction outside of Mitchell, none. Now, they haven't got a replacement. It's not like they can bring someone on in the back line. They've got to dig in, and he's still struggling. I mean, Mitchell's got to make a better decision there. I mean, that's going to be Rich coming from here, who loved the tap penalty back in the day, but you're 3 points behind. You're an experienced international. You've played big games. You know at the bare minimum that you have to get this game tied with only 10 minutes to go.
And they've won a penalty at the scrum, Bath. Oh, a penny for Phil Dowson's thoughts. The Northampton boss. The camera just panned to Dowson. And at the moment, Northampton are seeing the Premiership trophy slip out of their grasp. Loads of time left. 10 minutes and a little bit. But Bath have a lead, and they have a penalty, Chris Ashton, and a chance to go up to the halfway line. And every second that ticks by will encourage Bath that bit more, and will send that lingering fear more and more around the Northampton camp.
Just an amazing minute or so there from what Northampton have left us certain 3 points during the game up to Bath. Again, some heroic defence. The defence has been ridiculous today, and then to turn the penalty with a 7-man scrum gets them up to 42 metres, and the pressure again is all on Northampton.
Bath line out, Sarah Finn Smith's coming off.
Yeah, that's right. He was actually down on the ground for about 2 minutes receiving medical treatment. He's been hobbling around for the last minute or so of the play. It means Tom James is on. Northampton have used everyone on their bench now. There is no one left.
Wow. So what does that mean? Furbank
10
to 10. Hendy to full-back. And then the replacement 9, Tom James, goes onto the wing. Or does Alex Mitchell go to the wing? I mean, this is now, well, they can't panic, but it's panic station stuff for Northampton. As, well, Cokanasiga got up from the kick. This is a really interesting call. What did you see there, Chris Ashton? It's going to be a Northampton line-out, is it? But on their own 22.
He was already out when he jumped, unfortunately.
Yeah, stick with on-field decision.
Tom James has gone to the wing. He's actually played quite a few times on the wing for Northampton this year. He comes on, sometimes slots in that position, so it's not unusual for him to be on the wing.
Taken by Green.
Well, Northampton win the line out. Northampton 18, Bath 21, and to put the result in more context, Bath have been down a man since the 22nd minute. And they've come from 15-3 down to lead the final. Penalty Northampton. Just what the Saints needed. On their own 22, Bath pulled down the rolling wall. And now Northampton could go into their pattern, and extra time starts to become a live possibility if Northampton kick a 3.
Oh, it's a big call, that. Bath just set. Matavesi trying to drive it from that sort of rear gunner position. Bath looked like they had the octopus tentacles all over it. What a turnover that could have been. It's cost them 40 metres, and now Matavesi again hands on the ball, ready to set the Northampton team alight.
And they go quickly, Northampton, in centre field in the Twickenham sunshine. How long left? 7.5 minutes as the Saints attack through Furbank over to Henty. They're having to do this with their backline completely ripped apart, Northampton, but they still have a man advantage, and they've just got to try and keep their composure. Northampton 18, Bath 21, Furbank out the back, Freeman finds Dingwall, who's almost through. Great tackle, Bath, and they get on their feet looking to steal and almost effect a turnover. Iogun out the back to Furbank. There are numbers here for Northampton. Henty, can he skin Lawrence? Almost. He's through George Henty. He's still going, George Henty. He gets the offload away, and Alex Mitchell's in, and he scores a brilliant Northampton try, and it may be the score that wins the title for the Saints.
Hendy, I've heard he's Hendy. Hendy Mendy, that's exactly what he did. He just got gas on the outside. Furbank, all class again, fly half, fullback, doesn't matter, provides the pass for Hendy. Slips and rides tackles and finds Mitchell up the centre and putting things right for his mistake on the quick tap. He finds the try line.
I'll tell you what, if there was Chris Ashton outside, George Hendy there, he would have been furious. Hendy makes a lovely outside break. He's holding it in one hand. He doesn't look like he's going to pass, but there's a 2-on-1. Just give it! But then thankfully he managed to get the offload, and it still needed a bit of finishing from Alex Mitchell to be fair.
But fair play, George Hendy. You know, he's made that try. And he scored 2 tries against Munster in the Champions Cup quarter-final. He's one of those guys that, yeah, you'll see mistakes, but he's hard to put down. He's got something about him.
That's stuff you can't teach.
It's unique.
Yeah, you can't coach it. They've been calling him Bendy Hendy.
Well, this is interesting because Furbank is waiting for the clock.
They can charge as soon as you start your run-up.
He's waiting for the clock to tick down. He's going to take every single second, and he puts it through George Furbank. I mean, what a footballer. Going from full-back to fly half. You picked him out before the game, Chris Ashton. 5 minutes left. Northampton 25, Bath 21. Extra time pretty much ruled out now, you might think. Bath have to score a try in response with 5 minutes to go. Northampton are 5 minutes away from glory, Matt Dawson.
Well, I don't think there's been a drawn game all season, Chris. So why would there be one in the Premiership final?
Well, Bath have the ball back. They'll think they can win it. Spencer, does that go forward? What's referee Ridley going to decide? Well, the first knock-on was Northampton. So, Bath will have a scrum. And given what they've managed at the scrum in part today, they might be able to win a penalty, go to the corner, and all bets are off. This game is still well and truly alive. 4.5 minutes to go. Northampton 25, Bath 21. What a brilliant end to the Premiership season, Chris Ashton.
And Sam Underhill's back on the pitch for Bath. He's been outstanding today, so who knows, he might come up with something. I think Bath have got to try and get a penalty out of this scrum. If they ever needed one, never time, it's now. They need a penalty here and be able to put it in the corner.
4 points in it with 4 minutes to go on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 82,000 enraptured supporters watching this scrum, which is solid from both sides. Bath desperate for the penalty. They're not going to get it. Oh, goodness me. I don't think we've ever poured over a scrum like this.
I think the refs had that spot on, and he can't give a call there. Both teams, both front rows standing up. But if one team really does tell the picture well here, the referee has no qualms in giving penalties in these big moments. Huge scrum of the season. Probably scrum of the season.
Thomas de Toit's earned his money today, hasn't he? 76.5 minutes and he's still going strong for Bath.
Unbelievable stuff in the final. Northampton 25, Bath 21. Finn Smith on the touchline cannot watch as the scrum is fed again by Ben Spencer. It looks solid. There might not be a penalty coming Bath's way. It's coming Northampton's way, and that might be it. That might be the moment that sends the Premiership trophy back to Franklin's Gardens. With 3 minutes to go, a huge call at the scrum. Christoph Ridley says Bath took the knee, and maybe 77 punishing minutes of toil have just caught up with Bath. Penalty Northampton, and with 2.5 minutes left, you can hear Shoe Army all around Twickenham. They know how close they are.
Yeah, I mean, this game's, you know, it's still got a bit in it. And I'm looking at one guy in Finn Russell. I mean, if you want anyone on the field to create a bit of magic and for a try, for a 5-pointer in the league, it's Finn Russell. But for Northampton, up the jumper time, eh?
14.
Well, the camera's just panned to Dylan Hartley, a man who won the league with Northampton back in 2014. Alex Waller and Courtney Laws, the remaining players from that side, and Phil Dowson was a key part of that team as one of the back row leaders. He's now the director of rugby, looking to do what very few men have done: win it as a player, win it as a boss. And he's 2 and a bit minutes away from doing that. Northampton 25, Bath 21. Matavesi throws, Ludlam takes it. In one of his final acts as a Northampton player before he leaves for France, the club captain is at the heart of that maul with 2 minutes left. The Saints, well, they're going to play some territory, Mitchell. That's probably the right call as long as it stays in field. It does. That's a good kick, Mitchell. And now Bath have to go from 70-odd, Matt Dawson.
Brilliant kick. Right in the 5-metre line, and probably about a yard from the touchline. Wilmere nowhere to go.
Oh, Finn Russell with the kick pass for Ollie Lawrence. Perfectly done from Russell and Lawrence. But Lawrence is caught by Tom James, the makeshift winger. And Bath still have to go from 70. Russell has to get out his bag of tricks. Out to Annett. That's a good ball off his right from the replacement hooker. And Bath have got up to the 10-metre line. Oh, lovely hands, but then it's been lost, has it? No, it's still in Bath possession. Up to the 10-metre line. Northampton can't afford penalties. Can Bath work something ludicrous and special? Cameron Redpath, who's done big things for Scotland on this turf, and then he throws it out the back to nobody. And Ollie Lawrence walks away forlornly. And Northampton have 1 minute and 8 seconds until they're crowned Premiership champions with 4 points in it. Northampton 25, Bath 21, and Courtney Laws can barely stand. Everyone has gone through the ringer today. And the noise is from the Northampton fans with just over 1 minute to go, and the line out right below us on the 10-metre line, Matt Dawson.
Yeah, how many times has a team gone through this drill with 1 minute and 8 seconds to go? Every session, every contact session, every single week, every single month, get the minute drill done. And now it is in Northampton's hands. Possibly 7-8 phases to go of your season in order to you to get your hands on that trophy. A fantastic position to be in now about the execution.
Matavesi, one of the biggest line-outs of his career, up went the Northampton through Mayan Avanua, but he lost it and it's back in Bath possession. They just had to get that line out right. It's still alive at Twickenham. Northampton 25, Bath 21, but it's been lost by Bath, and Northampton have it, and they're 40 seconds away.
No advantage.
Oh, yeah, no advantage from the knock-on. Good call, Chris Ashton. So Bath will get a scrum.
They should have taken the scrum straight away. You've got 30-40 seconds left. Don't try and play from there with 14 men. Use the only strength really that they've had today.
A penalty's no good. Okay, yeah, kick it to the corner, but the way that Northampton and their front row have come on for Bath, this is get the ball in, get it away, get a strike move, a positional move, try and isolate someone in that Northampton back line. Finn Russell, a lot has been made about the paycheck. What have you got?
The clock is dead. If the last scrum was the biggest of the season, this one's even bigger. It's crumpled. The referee's given a penalty to Bath. They will have one last chance. It's free ball for Russell. Redpath out to Gallagher. He's got Will Muir on the left touchline. Muir streaking down the left. It's then been gathered by Slideholme. No advantage. Northampton, their fans thought they'd won the title, but not yet. It's a penalty to Bath. They could go to the corner and go to their maul. Huge call, Christoph Ridley. Northampton thought they had won. Their fans thought they had won. But the penalty at the scrum, and Bath can put it in the corner and go to their maul and ask some serious questions of Northampton.
I've just been told that it was actually your line out at the end of it. So do you want that advantage?
Oh, right.
Or do you want to kick from here?
Is that 5 metres out?
Yes.
Okay, so if you heard that, Muir put his boot through it, back it came, Slideholme then took it out. So it's going to be a Bath 5-metre line out on the far side, or is it? No, Bath actually want to take the penalty. Interesting call.
I think the officials looked at the replay and realised the ball was already out on the far side.
Okay.
So there wasn't actually that advantage.
They reversed that. Gallagher, how close can he put it? Not too bad. 7 or 8 metres out, maybe a few more. Listen to the noise around Twickenham. Well, the nerves are jangling up here in the commentary box. What about the players? What about the coaches, the staff, the supporters? 4 points in it, and Bath have a shot at glory from the line out. Can Northampton keep their discipline? But can Bath come up with something to take the Premiership title back to the Rec? After 28 years, they win it through Bayliss. Heave is the cry from the blue, black and white travelling support. Annette's at the back. They're 12 metres out or so. It's a nicely formed Bath maul, but Northampton are in there trying to slow it up. They've only got 4 men to the left, Bob. Miller Mills is in there looking to create havoc. Spencer has to use it. He gives it to Russell. Finn Russell offloads to Spencer. Spencer, loose pass, picked up by Bailey. Bailey into the 22 for Bath. It's been ripped by Northampton. Can they kick it out? Yes, they can. Northampton win the Premiership. We're just waiting for the referee to say they have. And Northampton celebrate. 10 long years of hurt ends for the Saints today. The heroes of 2014 have company. They've beaten Bath 25-21, but spare a thought for the men in blue, black and white who were heroic to a man. But it's Northampton who came up with the killer play, the killer try when they needed it most, and they just about snuffed Bath out at the end. What a game. It's the green, the gold, the black flags that fly. And after 10 years, that glistening Premiership trophy is going back to Franklin's Gardens. What a final. Northampton 25, Bath 21, and Northampton are champions of England again.
This game today we thought was always going to be relatively tight. We thought it was going to be a spectacle. We thought it had the showing to, possibly being a classic. And then we thought it was all over. We thought with a red card it was done, it was dusted. Northampton 15-3, I think Chris said, that were up. The game was, it was gone. I can't say enough for this Bath squad and this Bath team for what they've just done in the last hour or so. Absolutely remarkable. But then switching the focus to a team who have played some sublime rugby this season, have won the league, topped the league, and have dug themselves out of some very, very dark spots this afternoon to win it. And incredibly proud to have played in those colours and privileged to have watched a brilliant Premiership final. Well done, Saints.
Chris Ashton.
What a game.
You can barely talk.
We've got to admire the way that Bath have fought to the end to try and get a win here today. Having 14 men for 20 minutes in, the defence, they couldn't attack, they couldn't go anywhere. Northampton were trying to lose it at points, but it was the moment of the game, really. The try that was scored at the end from Mitchell was the decisive moment for Northampton, and they've been the best team all year. They deserved it today. We thought they'd do it a little bit cleaner than what they did in the end, but this season has been Northampton Saints, and the right team have won on the day.
Well, Sonia, what a game. We're often treated in the Premiership final. For 60 minutes, Bath were down to 14, and with moments to go, they had the edge and then opportunities. But what a try, Alex Mitchell. What a break, George Hendy. What a moment for those Northampton players. And Courtney Laws bowing out Alex Waller, Lewis Ludlam. But Laws did it 10 years ago. The perfect send-off for one of the modern-day greats of English rugby. Northampton on top. English club rugby once more.
They win it 25-21. Saints don't so much go marching on as limping over the line, but the record books will show that they are the champions of 2024. But boy, do you have to feel for those Bath players. Matt Dawson, how on earth did Northampton Saints do that in the second half? Because it was all about Bath.
Well, and it wasn't for the want of Northampton trying. Northampton maybe created a few problems for themselves with aerial discipline, a little bit of inaccuracy, but then they were just attacking at the wrong times, and they couldn't get through the phases. They didn't have their heads up necessarily, sort of symptomatic of Will Muir's try, where Hendy just didn't have his head up, seeing where the opposition were, and Northampton were pretty much like that second half until the penny dropped with 15 minutes to go or 10 minutes to go, where Northampton realised if they just went through the phases, if they moved Bath around a little bit, there was going to be an opportunity. A key moment was actually Finn Smith going off. I mean, Finn Smith played well, but when he went off and George Furbank came into 10, there was this new dimension and pace and angle from Northampton that Bath just couldn't live with, and the few phases that led up to the try, George Furbank was in at 10 and was causing havoc. So, you know, that substitution, that little shift positionally really made the difference.
The trophy presentation platform has already gone up just near the centre circle, and there are Northampton players hugging each other. Oh gosh, the Bath players, one or two, have just got their hands on their hips. I don't think they can believe quite what's happened. We will talk about some of the nuances within the... Oh, Sarah, you're in amongst it down there. Go for it.
Thank you so much. And I'd say I'm joined with Premiership winner Alex Mitchell. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. I mean, it's been a dream of mine in the last 10 years watching Waller do it back then, and now we've done it ourselves. I'm over the moon. I'm so happy, so happy.
You have assisted a lot of tries this season. You've scored a few, but how sweet was that one in the final?
Yeah, it was massive. I mean, I didn't really do much. Hendy went down the right and took on about 5 boys, and then I was just there to finish it off. But yeah, team performance. We're actually a bit off it today, but look, we found a way and we're champions, so yeah, so happy.
And just lastly, before I let you go, who was leading the team talks in that last 5 minutes, because that was tense?
I think a bit of everyone. I think Courts was there, Furbs, Lodge when he came on. Everyone was really calm, knew our jobs, and we had to execute, and we pretty much did in the end, so happy. Yeah.
Enjoy your celebrations tonight. Congratulations.
Cheers, thank you.
That's the England and Northampton Saints scrum half, Alex Mitchell. Just first of all, Chris, what will this mean to this Northampton Saints group of players and to all these Saints fans here, because it's been 10 years?
It has, and this group is quite unique. They're a young age, they've done it really early. They've tasted defeat in semi-finals over recent years of this group of players, so they're in a really good spot. They've got a good coaching group, they're all young coaching group. They have been the best team in the Premiership from start to finish this year. They fully deserve what they're doing, and they've got the age profile. We're seeing the Saracens are moving on of the Saracens and that group of players, and maybe we're seeing the start of something here at Northampton with what they've got.
Bath have just had a huddle, and I'm sure Sarah will be asking, so what were the words that Johan van Graan was finding in that moment? We'll be back here very shortly, but let's just go to Wembley, and I'm guessing, Richard Stead, that unless there's been a dramatic turnaround, Wigan Warriors have won the Challenge Cup.
Yeah, Wembley's cherry and white, Son, you're absolutely spot on. They've beaten the Warrington Wolves by 18 points to 8. Tries from Eckersley French, who also won the Lance Todd Trophy for the man of the match, and Farrell. There's no complaints in the result here. 64,845 have watched a decent Challenge Cup final, but it's Wigan Warriors who now hold all 4 trophies that they can win. They're on a grand slam.
Lots of Northampton Saints fans have stayed around to savour the atmosphere. They want to see their team lift the trophy. Sarah is still down there with more Northampton Saints reaction.
I'm with Fraser Dingwall. How does it feel to say Fraser Dingwall, champion of the Premiership?
It doesn't feel real, to be honest. It doesn't feel real. God, it's so hard to know what to say, because in that game we felt like we battled so hard, and Bath just put us under so much pressure that it didn't feel like we were going to get there at times. But I think that's just that game just epitomises our season, that we've been faced with so many challenges and we found a way. And I couldn't be proud of the group, but what a way to send off some individuals who have meant so much to this club.
You have got a very red eye. There's a lot of blood around it. I can see that's going to puff up. Just tell us about the physicality of that final.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think it was clear that Bath were coming after that area against us, and they did a pretty good job. And it took us too long to adapt to it, but yeah, as I said, we found a way. and all it takes in these tight games is one moment, and we took it. And yeah, I just can't explain the feeling I've got right now.
Who is going to be leading the celebrations tonight?
I think literally everyone. I can't think there's going to be anyone who isn't. As I said, there's 4 massive men who've played today, but there's many boys also in the wider squad. As you can see, they're celebrating as much as the boys who have played. So this group's really special. We've sent off some really good men in a good way today.
Congratulations, Fraser Dingwall. Go and enjoy.
Thank you.
That's Fraser Dingwall, heads off after talking down on the touchline with our reporter, Sarah Orchard. Chris Jones, you mentioned it. Phil Dowson, let's have a little bit of a word about him, because, you know, he's not been in charge long with Northampton Saints, and here he is. 10 years ago he was here, got on off the bench in the final when they won it, and now he's done it as a coach as well. What's his secret?
Well, I think he would say he learned from a brilliant mentor in Chris Boyd, one of the best coaches to come out of New Zealand, who was the Northampton director of rugby that helped bring through Dowson. He would look at his backroom team as well, the likes of Sam Vesty, but at just 42, you know, he's part of this cohort of young English coaches, and it was only 5-10 years ago or so we were lamenting the English coaches coming through. A lot of the Premiership clubs were headed up by those from outside England, and clubs would often have to go further afield to bring in head men. So to see someone like Dowson is great from a sort of English rugby point of view, and you just see him grow year on year on year. The confidence he's talking with, the environment he's fostered, the confidence he now has, the way he's been able to work with the players and his staff. Fantastic, really good bloke as well. He's been great with us talking on the pod and on 5 Live. So yeah, you wish him and his whole coaching team really well. They brought in Lee Radford from Rugby League, which has been inspired to shore up their defence. And yeah, he joins a special group of people who have won it as a player and now as a head man.
Yeah, and somewhere Chris Boyd, that sort of wise old owl, will probably be enjoying a glass of red Bordeaux, I imagine.
It might be 5 in the morning in New Zealand. I don't know when you drink your red Bordeaux,
I reckon
Sonia.
he's still up. I reckon he's up. I think he's watching, and
Probably
I think he's probably enjoying. I don't think he's been to bed.
Who can blame him?
Who can blame him? Matt Dawson, tell us about Phil Dowson and what you've made of what he's done with Northampton Saints.
Yeah, I mean, like many coaches before, everybody has had their sort of their moment, their print on the Northampton history. But I think Phil Dowson has, he's always embraced the club. He's embraced the town, the fans, and there was always something missing when I was at the club, and for many years before, there was just always something missing around Northampton about that it was a comfortable place to be. The facilities, the success, etc. But it just slightly clipped the wings of the club. And people like Phil Dowson come in and have made every single player who puts that jersey on realise what it means to the town, what it means to the people of Northampton, and ultimately what it should mean to the players. And now, as Bath have a lot of players coming through from the academy, Northampton have had such a good academy system and youngsters coming through that it means whether it's a training session or whether it's the Premiership final, you can tell that these Northampton players absolutely want to give it them all. It doesn't mean they're going to make it right, but you get full-bore effort from them, and that has to come from Phil and his coaching staff.
Chris, so a quick word on these Bath players who've just had to walk past the Premiership trophy to collect their runners-up medals when they came so close to one of the great upsets in a Premiership final.
Yes, I don't know if it makes it easier sometimes when you're in a team with 14 men, because you're expected to lose. You're expected to lose the game as soon as that happens, so maybe that lifted a bit of weight off them, but they came and did their part here. Sam Underhill was absolutely exceptional. Finn Russell had his moments too. I think they probably look at the game and well, they probably won't look at the game, but they probably think they could have won it at points without doubt. They were in the game for sure. I think on Northampton's side, when you're a young team like this, the first one is always the hardest to get over the line, because you feel like there's so much pressure. You want to win so much. I know for sure that's how I felt when I finally got 1-1. It was just a relief more than anything. It didn't matter how the game played out as long as you got it done. then you've got that experience moving forward, and I'm sure this team will be back here.
You can hear the Northampton Saints fans getting behind their team, because some of the players now are on the platform where we will see the trophy lift. The Premiership trophy is there on the plinth. There's a phalanx of photographers down here waiting to get the money shot that you're going to see in your newspapers and online tomorrow, well, tonight and tomorrow, because we're about to see Courtney Laws, of all people, lift aloft the Premiership trophy. Chris Jones.
It's going to feel very fitting that Alex Waller was the first man up, the record appearance maker for Northampton. He was the hero 10 years ago with that try that Chris Ashton still can't forget, when he bundled over the line under the crossbar to break Saracens' hearts. He was up first, and the two men hanging back, two greats of Northampton rugby, the club captain Lewis Ludlam and one of the greats of English rugby in Courtney Laws, playing his final game for Northampton after 17 seasons, and Laws and Ludlam lift the Premiership trophy into the Twickenham air. To the fireworks and the flames and the streamers. What an image that is. Ludlam's right hand, Laws' left hand. Laws spoke in the week about a perfect finale, a dream ending. You cannot think of any better moment to end your club career than lifting the Premiership trophy, which Courtney Laws and Lewis Ludlam have just done in their final act as a Saints player before new adventures in France. And now Laws lifts it alone. And the streamers have covered the players. And those celebrations back at the Gardens will go on long into the night and the week. Courtney Laws and Northampton are Premiership champions. And what an ending to English rugby it is for Laws.
I thought the streamers might come down the green, black and gold, but no, they're blue of the Premiership colours. But there we go, as the Saints players try and get rid of now the blue, that confetti or streamers that are now wrapped around them. And the trophy glistens in the early evening sunshine here at Twickenham. And you can just hear, you get that smell in the air, don't you, from the pyrotechnics. And I imagine now one or two fans will wait and watch. I imagine Northampton Saints walk round this stadium and do a lap of honour. Chris Ashton, best team won in your mind, right?
Oh yes, without doubt, I think from start to finish. It's good to have the top two teams in the country in the final, but I begin. It's a big old group Northampton have got out there. You can really feel how close they are as a squad. Even the players that haven't played today, everyone's involved down there. And I think that was probably a testament too to their academy system and how things are going as a whole. It's not just the lads that are playing out here, it's everything that goes into it. The setup that they have at Northampton now, the facilities that they have, the players, that this group of players, a big group of these players, are all from their academy system, which just shows that everything is working and going in the right direction.
And you have to remember also that they reached the semi-finals of the Champions Cup, rubbing shoulders with the likes of Leinster, taking them to the brink at Croke Park as the champagne sprays everywhere. Lewis Ludlam and Juan Augustus leading it at the front. So that's another feather in the cap of Phil Dowson, the way he was able to manage his squad and fight on both fronts. And look, if they'd lost two semi-finals or lost today, then it could have been an anticlimactic end to a season that promised so much. But to reach the Champions Cup semi-finals, to win the Premiership, and to do it with so many English players and England internationals, it's a good story for English rugby.
Sarah's waving at me. That means that she's got someone we can hear from.
Well, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by the Northampton Saints Chief Executive, Mark Darban. 10 years is a long time to wait. How does it feel?
It feels unbelievable. 10 years is a long time. I'm just so happy for all the boys. They've been brilliant all season. What a way for Courtney and Sue Waller and Luds and Alex Moon to be moving on. Unbelievable effort.
How long have you felt in the Northampton family that something has been growing with this young group that has come through and seems to have flourished, particularly under Phil Dowson?
Yeah, it's definitely been building. We've been in 3 of the last 5 semi-finals before this year. Not quite got it over the line. We had a great run in Europe this year, so we've been confident that it was coming. But they've still got to go out and do it on the big occasion, and just couldn't be more proud.
And before I let you go, Northampton is a rugby town. What are the celebrations going to be like?
They will be long and big. It's been unbelievable, the support we've had from the town all year and the last few years. It's unrelenting, so it's going to be one hell of a celebration when we get back there tonight.
Go and enjoy it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Matt Dawson, we just watched some of the players down here just sort of holding the trophy up in front of the fans and just starting to really enjoy the moment. What's that like? What's that like? It must be amazing.
Yeah, it's a very special feeling. You can, they'll know where their parents and their family are sat. You catch them by the eye. It's this very special moment. There are a lot of them hanging around there with one shoe on and one shoe off, ready to sing their Shoe Army song, which will be a decent rendition tonight, that's for sure. But not that I was fortunate enough to win a Premiership with Northampton, but when we did the European Cup in 2000, we got on the bus and went back to Northampton, and the stadium was absolutely rammed, the town was rammed. I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same. They just get back up to the homeland as soon as possible.
Yeah, I've heard that there is a bus parade tomorrow already organised, should they have won it, which they have. So let's go back to Sarah, who is with the losing director of rugby, Johan van Graan.
Well, Johan, with every winner, sadly, there has to be a loser, but I imagine you cannot be more proud of your Bath players right now.
Yeah, what a game of rugby from our side. They fought till the end. We started off the journey by saying become tough to beat, and we were certainly tough to beat today. Congratulations to Saints. They beat us by 4 points. But yes, I can't be more proud of my team.
I'm sorry to have to ask you, the red card, was that the difference between you and Northampton today?
Yeah, it's one of those things that happen in the game. To play for 60 minutes in a final with 14 men makes it extremely difficult, but we are one group, united, and we'll stick around Benno, and you could see what that performance meant to everybody in the squad, and as I said, incredibly proud.
And you said it just there about this squad. Is this just the start of something? This is only your second season with Bath. You'll be back with a bang next year?
Yeah, look, we'll take time. This is Saturday after 52 weeks together, so take our time to reflect on what has been. We get to our families now, stay together as a group, and then we'll look forward to next season.
Johan, commiserations day. Thank you for a wonderful season.
Thank you.
That's Sarah Orchard talking to Johan van Graan. Northampton Saints are just doing their lap of honour. We're hoping, they say there's no room for sentiment in sport, but Courtney Laws has had the fitting fairy tale